Hey, this is your girl, Ashley Michelle. Welcome to the Ladies Room. I am one of your co hosts, and I am so excited to be here tonight. We have our co host, Mrs. Cannon Hill. We got Mrs. Jovo.
Hey y'all.
And Mrs. Understanding will stop by a little later. She is celebrating her anniversary with her husband. Hey, Raven. And we have our one and only man holding it down, Mr. Darwin Hill.
The champ is here. Let's do it.
And we have a very special guest, Dara, in the house.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I am so excited about this show. A lot has taken place in our country the past few days, and we're going to talk about it. All right, for those of you who don't know, we are the Ladies Room. We live stream every Tuesday night at 7:15 p.m. Central Time. And we talk about everything pertaining to ladies, love, dating, marriage, parenting. We talk about many different social issues. We talk about any and everything related to women. All right. We are real ladies, real talk from real ladies. All right. And so we like to go ahead and get started. Our first topic, Kentanji Brown. Am I saying that correctly? I think I am.
Kentanji,
Kentanji Brown, a woman doing it all, success, influence, and backlash, and more. All right. Kentanji Brown is a newly elected Supreme Court judge and newly appointed. She was just confirmed about a day ago. Was it a day ago? And she has caused a lot of stir.
Yes.
A lot of mixed emotions and responses. Just for those of you who don't know, Ketanji Brown, she was born September 14, 1970. She's an American attorney. She's a jurist as well. She served as a federal judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. She is a current nominee for the Supreme Court. She's awaiting confirmation, but I think that she has been confirmed as of now. Has she?
I didn't think she was confirmed, but you could be wrong.
Okay. President Biden actually nominated Ketanji Brown Jackson, to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court in 2022. And if and when confirmed, she will be the first Black woman to sit on the Supreme Court. All right. And so I was sad to see so many negative comments online about Ketanji. And they came from a lot of our kinfolk, our brothers, and a lot of people have,
as always,
have criticized her, saying, "Oh, we don't need another." I'll just read some of the comments that I read. We don't need another woman in the Supreme Court. There were people who were saying that she should be at home. She should be at home raising children. It said another man said she wouldn't be getting this much love if her husband was Black. So she got a lot of criticism. And it was just very kind of saddening. But I want us to dive into that. Before I share my comments here, I want to hear from you guys. What do you all have to say about that? Who wants to chime in first?
Sadly, this is what our community does. That oppression, we've learned it, and we do it to each other. You know, I was disappointed in some of the backlash that she got. I felt like she needed a little bit more support. It's sadly, it's what we do. And I think that the more we see Black women come to the forefront when it comes to politics, it's just gonna be more. It's just gonna be more. And I think that what we have to do, and I know I've charged myself to do, is to really get behind these people, understand that it's a historical moment. That someone that looks like me, the same sex as me, is trying to evoke some change in our nation. You know, and just understand that this is not like it's like I really want to scream sometimes and tell a lot of people in our community that we're not slaves anymore, and we have rights, and we can actually celebrate and love on each other. We don't have to always be products of oppression, especially in moments like this. Like it's funny how some people are just so quick to criticize and be negative, and then the second thought is, but yay, this was a historical moment. It's just really, it just speaks volumes about the healing that our community needs and is still gaining. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think? What do you think, Darwin?
I don't know too much about her. I was just trying to do some research, but how old is her kids? I just want to know, like, who is that to tell someone they should be at home raising kids? It look like her kids pretty old to me, and look like they doing well. So it look like she can do both. But it's just the same thing that's been going on for forever. Women never get their props. Women never get their just due. They have to fight extra hard. It's just a repeated cycle of what Black people have to go through to get what we're still going through to get equality. So women has to still fight to get the equality when it comes to pertaining these certain goals that they want to have, and right now it seems like they're at the bottom of the totem pole. Women, Black women, and they fighting to get to the top. So it's gonna be a forever fight, I think, because everybody's fighting either someone is fighting to stay at the top, and someone's fighting to get to the top. And the way things are going, if these men don't change how they think, women going to be forever fighting. But I think it's a good fight that the women are fighting. I support all the women, and I hope y'all keep progressing and just keep on achieving these goals. We need more women in the office. We need more women everywhere. Things are looking better, but we still have a long way to go as far as getting equal rights for women. And it's just sad that our kinfolks are the main ones that's downing her. I think it comes from a place of jealousy, because they feel like how did she get there? It's always some stigma behind a Black person's success in terms of how they got there. And I think most of the world is just haters, and I know it's a deep rooted place where we get the hate from what we went through, but we should be a little bit more smart in that. We should be a little bit more supportive than what we are for our own Black people, especially our women. We need to protect them and support them as much as we can, because every successful Black man I know had a good Black woman right there next to him. So I don't know when fellas is going to start learning that, but
Mm-hmm. I was listening to a Clubhouse some months ago, and one of the guys was making a point that successful Black women do not add anything or contribute anything to our society. He said that when Black women gain any type of success, or when they not get married, but when they have businesses and make a certain amount of money, it's not it doesn't help. It's not impactful. And his point was, well, it's the men who are the heads of the households, and they're the ones who would help grow the legacy. When women make money, there's nobody to pass on the money to.
I kind of agree with that, but not in the way he's trying to portray it or whatever. I think when a woman becomes successful and starts gaining those a certain amount of money, men get intimidated. So the woman is left alone because it's not a man that can like really sit there and watch a woman make more money than him, watch a woman that has more power than him, watch a woman that's liberated and able to speak intelligently and have a great point and be able to stand on her own. So I think a lot of those black men, they kind of stick their tail between their legs and cur out and run, and these black women, they go and get, who wants them, and a lot of black successful women have gone outside the race to get these men that's not intimidated by their success. There's no knock on the woman at all. I think these black men just need to grow a pair, and just support their woman in other ways. If you can't make more money than her, then there's other ways you can support her and be a man. And I think a lot of men just don't understand that it's more ways to be a man than to just make more money or have this status of power or something like that. Look at Safari. He was riding with Nicki Minaj for a long time. He was in the shadow, right? I don't know what led to their breakup, but it looked like he was doing a pretty good job in the shadow and keeping it happy for a long while until, I guess maybe he got a little successful and then he thought he was bigger than her and he blew up and he went on his little way. But, I think men need to just support and achieve their own goals and stop trying to measure up to a successful woman. It's not a competition.
Yeah, it's not a competition. And I hear a lot of men say that in our communities, that Black women are trying to compete with men and Black women are trying to compete with them. And I'm like, we're not trying to compete with you, but we do have goals and we have dreams and we want to work toward them and we should work toward them. And then one thing that's so funny when they say, oh, Black women are trying to compete with men is that it's stemming, or it comes from the premise that only men should be the ones who have jobs and great careers and we can't even say jobs because I think most men want their women to work, because they need their women to work. But it's like they don't want. It's almost like saying that the highest of positions and the most lucrative fields or the most prominent fields are only for men. And it's like, no, like women are capable of using a variety of skill sets inside the home and outside the home. So when you say that when women are taught to go after their dreams and goals, that they're trying to compete with men, it's just coming from this very privileged place of like saying that, oh, that's only for men. And it's not. And it's just really unfortunate. Every woman is not trying to compete with a man. And a Black woman's success is not a blow to a man. You know what I mean? But I agree with you, Darren, that a lot of these guys are insecure and, they have all these different talking points and these narratives about Black women who are, successful because it's calling out a lot of the ways that they feel inadequate, So anyway, I want to hear what you all have to say. Cannon, what do you think?
So we're going to have a theme for tonight, and we're going to start with principles, right? Because one thing that has just been eating away at me is I'm trying to cohesively understand the different positions and the different attitudes that people take on things to try to make it consistent, ideologically consistent. And one way that you do that is to try to understand someone's principles, right? And a principle is a fundamental truth or a proposition that serves as the foundation for a system or belief or behavior or a chain of reasoning, right? That's a principle, like basically the foundation of that guides this person for making the decisions about a situation that they make or coming to the conclusions that they make, right? So it's been so confusing to me because I'm like, this seems so ideologically inconsistent. Like, what are the principles? Like, what do you believe in? Like, what is guiding you to come to these ideas and these decisions? And one of them is what you called out already, insecurity. Strong insecurity. Like, the principle is insecurity. That is what's guiding you. That's why when you see these different situations that seem like they have these inconsistent responses to them, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense when you think about it through the lens of insecurity. If you think about it through the lens of insecurity, it makes total perfect sense. That's why you're doing that, because you're insecure. And so when you are threatened by certain things, then you also have to put in racism, sexism, misogyny, misogynal. You have to throw all of that in there. And then it makes total perfect sense for why they talk about things the way that they do, and why people come to the conclusions that they come to, especially when it comes to a Black woman, and especially when it comes to a Black woman rising to this type of a position of power, right? That's the lens that it's going to be seen through. Like, I talk about bias all the time. And the key thing that so many of us fail to understand is the biases that we have against other Black people. We do. We have them, and we don't address them enough, and we just accept this stuff. Like, one of the biggest things to me, I hate when people be like, because and then white people gonna think this of us, or white people, what? They gonna think that anyway. What are we doing? What are we really doing? What are we really doing out here? One of the best things that I could have ever did for myself was merging my identities. Because, you know, you got your regular identity and you got your code switch identity. Okay. A couple years ago, I let that go. You're going to get what you're going to get, boo-boo. Sometimes you're going to get this, and sometimes you'll get something different. But this is who I am in my totality. And I'm not going to try to diminish my personhood because I'm trying to impress or try to make you think something. You're going to think what you're going to think regardless. Like, I'm not about to be twisting myself into pretzels trying to fit into this criteria of what you think I should be. Because you're going to feel about me however you feel about me because of your bias. And it's your problem and not mine. And at the end of the day, we just need to understand it and accept it. And to me, I guess the most disappointing part of it is the lack of understanding of how detrimental it is to oneself, these ideas, and in the way that they engage. I wish people would challenge those ideas more feverishly, the way that they promote their dysfunction. Because their life would be so much better. Because I also want to point out agency. We have a lot of agency out here that we are not exercising. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. All right, Dara, what do you think?
All right, well, thankfully, I haven't seen any of those comments when it comes to Judge Brown Jackson. I haven't seen any of those comments. But I try to live by the philosophy, know what you want and know what you don't want. I know there are women that want to pursue the highest levels of any industry, and I'm with that. I'm a stay-at-home mom at the moment. I'm with that. It works for me. Now, when I was 21, 22, could you have told me I would enjoy this, or that I would want this, or that it would be the lifestyle for my family that helps us thrive? No, you know? So, I mean, how can I put it? I mean, you're going to get people who have an opinion about your life, regardless of what's going on. So, I mean, she's awesome. Apparently, she's in the throes with she's there. She has the same credentials, if not more, than the judges that are already sitting. In fact, I think she has more experience as like a trial judge or something like that. So she actually went beyond what the sitting justices did. I mean, as far as the pushback she's getting in her confirmation hearings, I don't think too much of that. That's just what happens at this point. They're going to do, you see what they did to President Barack. They didn't even let him get his person, he wasn't even able to introduce his person, anything, like they blocked it. So it's like, it's just politics at this point. I think that would have happened if it was a Black man. I think it would have happened if it was, I mean, they've been pushing forward minority judges at this point for the past couple years. But going back to the relationship status, I mean, or whatever what were you saying about she needs to be in a home? I will say, being in a home helps my family. Being in a home helps our vision. Am I frugal? Yes. Am I putting some of my pursuits on the back burner for my kids and things like that? What I realized is that I only have my kids for 18 years. I know some people are able to juggle all those things, multitask. I was unable to do that personally. I wasn't the strongest at it. Something was always falling or faltering, or it just wasn't up to its highest potential. So what I chose to do was focus on the things that I know I can get right and that I can do 100%. My career at this point isn't one of them. Now, do I think I will change that when my kids are up and running? I do think I will, just because I feel like I have many gifts. I just feel like this is my season to be home. So for some people that may ring true, that you know, you can be at home. Some people, everybody can't do what she's doing. I applaud her. I'm praying for her. I'm rooting for her. She looks like me. She has my skin. She has, you know, she looks like us. I think she's African, but she's one of us. So I will always support that. I will always support following your dreams, whatever that is. But I do think we need to have a balance of some people do need to be in home, and some people do need to, you know, I don't want to say chase the bag, but chase their dreams. And it's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home wife and mom. That's beautiful. You know, I think that it's also beautiful when women
Or stay at home husband.
or when women go after their dreams. But what I don't respect is whenever there is a successful Black woman, a woman who's successful in her own right, that the response or the association is, oh, she's not a wifely woman. She's not a marriageable woman. She's not.
Girl, they're not marrying nobody anyway. It don't even matter.
Yeah, it's just
they're
like
not the ones to decide who marriageable they don't marry.
Exactly. But and I love her and many women like her, because there are women, like I said, who are doing it all. The expression used to be having it all, but thanks to y'all, I now say doing it all. That's more accurate, because women are multitask. We can multitask. Some choose to do it, some don't. For some families, it makes more sense for a woman to stay at home, and for some, it doesn't. You know, some people can make it work where they are tending to the home, but they're also working. You know, some people do that every day. And so I feel like people need to just do what works for them. But whenever you see a successful Black woman, for some reason, her ability to be a wife or her value of being a wife is diminished.
I think because
a Black man. And I'm just like, and not all, but this is what we see, and what I see in these spaces, these social media spaces, is that
it's a Black skin. It's not.
If you look at statistically, I mean, that's like the lowest group with the lowest marriage rates. So I mean, it's not just like what you're specifically seeing. The statistics bear out, but at the end of the day, it's just an excuse. Because like I said, you can't listen to a group of people who don't believe in marriage about what marriage is and what somebody being
Thank you. Oh my God.
It's not the career, it's the skin. I mean, because I don't see them saying any other group of women are unmarriageable.
Yeah.
So it's the skin that disqualifies you.
Oh, they love them some Kim Kardashian. Ooh, well, before the Kanye thing, they was loving them some Kim Kardashian.
They still do.
And you're probably right.
Yeah.
They do.
It's just really sad. And then here's the thing. Actually, if you look at our marriage rates, women who are college educated are more likely to be married. We tend to get married later in life, but we're more likely to be married anyway. So it just doesn't even make sense for people to say, oh, look at this successful Black woman. She's not wifely. She's not feminine. Like, our success is not like a blow to Black men. And I don't think any Black woman thinks that. I don't think any Black woman sees a Black woman who's being successful and says, oh, look at me, I'm better than the Black man. Like, no, we actually want Black men to be successful.
You know what I don't understand? I don't understand how I understand why why men like gender roles, but I don't understand how women like gender roles. Gender roles allow men to follow their dream, go after what they want to go after, because they don't have to be in a house doing all the sacrificial work, right? As far as taking care of the kids, dropping their plans to make sure the family's okay. And there's a lot of women that dig into the gender roles, and they really don't want to do the gender roles, but they feel like that's what they have to do because they're a woman.
It's indoctrination.
Yeah, because the woman her responsibility is to cook, to clean, and so when y'all take on these careers, everybody's looking at y'all like, oh, she's neglecting her family. She's not at home cooking and cleaning for her kids. She's not out there nurturing her kids. So, and not to say that, and they don't even know the dynamics of the family. The husband might can do that, but in society's eyes, they're going to always look at that woman and say, oh, since she's here, that means she's not there, and that means these kids are not being taken care of in the proper way, which doesn't make sense if you're a man, because that makes us look like we're incompetent of doing these things, right? So these gender roles is kind of arbitrary to me. I understand it's okay to live by them if that's what you can do, but in most of our situations, it's just not even livable. It's not even. It shouldn't even be a reality in a lot of women's mind. And I'm not just saying. I think it's a financial bracket where gender roles is okay. But if you're in that poor bracket and your husband is making $30,000 a year, and you're talking about, oh, I'm just going to stay at home and I'm just going to take care of the kids, and my husband got it and y'all behind on rent, and then it's just not even sustainable to be living.
It's not realistic.
And I think a lot of women do want to put in the work to help out, but I think they just got them old school ways in them, and they don't want to be looked at as like they're a bad mother. No one wants to be looked at like they're a bad parent, right? So they give up some of their goals, to do
and
things.
I think some women choose to do it because that's just makes sense for their family too.
Right. There's
nothing wrong with that.
I've done both. It's hard. It was a very hard decision for me to go back to work. Very hard decision because I knew things would change. And right now, the balance of being a therapist and having clients and teaching classes and running certain different, I essentially run 2 different programs.
And you do a show, girl.
Yeah. And I'm working like 40 some hours a week. And then I have a daughter and I have a husband. And it is a challenge.
But
I think it's all deflection. What's odd to me, well, not really odd. I know why. That the opinions and comments on everybody else's goals, but it's the same group of men. We don't know what their goals are other than we need submissive and cooperative women in our life. But what is your goal? And so I always tell my clients,
get rid of hair weaves.
Right. I always tell my clients it's 8 different things. When people start rejecting reality, it's 8 key essential reasons why they do it. And one of those reasons is people normally have all these opinions and comments about other people's goals. It's because they're so dead set on really proving how impressive and smart and important they are by using numbers and these kind of situations and specific news events. They're not really doing it to make a point. Oh, I'm smart, impressive, and I have something to say, and I deserve a cooperative and submissive woman. Meanwhile, they're not even discussing, okay, these are the goals that I have as a man. These are the things that I like to see different within the Black community. Every sentence they start out with, even as it pertains to them, always ends back up on what a Black woman is not doing. That is the biggest form of deflection. Like, seriously, this whole idea of proving that, with these numbers and these stats, they're not only saying we're falling short. What they're really saying is, I don't have nothing else to talk about because I ain't got no goals in my life. So I'm going to talk about how y'all feel. And then these unrealistic expectations, these addictions to porn, and these unrealistic expectations of women like Kim Kardashian, what they look like. Okay. And then y'all already know what I say about the Black community and drug and alcohol abuse. So I ain't going to get on that, but that's the other vice. And then just hiding their identity or again, using Black women as the creator of community problems when they really just hide behind the fact that they don't even know what they want or who they are. So it just baffles me. Meanwhile, you have this woman, potential Supreme Court judge who knows what she wants, got an education, has a family, has experience, and can dictate and communicate this very well. What are you doing? What are your goals? It's like the same sounding boards are the same folks who don't do nothing. Nothing. They criticize people who vote. And then when you do go out and vote, oh, you voted for the wrong person. Or why are y'all voting? And using all these terms, simp and 304s and all this stuff. But all the while, we know nothing about you, but you know everything about everybody else. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And my thing is like, you don't have to support Kentanji just because she's, Black, right? I personally learned a little bit about her background. And I liked what I saw. I like that she actually, she's won some court cases that got very lengthy prison terms reduced. And we haven't talked about prison reform here, but I am a proponent of prison reform.
Me too.
In the area of reduced sentencing. And so I like that. That was one thing that I personally like. And not that I support her because she's Black. I do think that someone Black on the Supreme Court adds a different perspective, so I think it's a good thing. Diversity is a good thing, right? It's helpful in many different ways in all aspects of life, right? So I don't have any problem with any type of criticism about her as a candidate if it's just fair. And we all know that it's not naturally going to be fair because she's Black and she's a woman and she's a Democrat. So you're going to have Republicans who are not happy or who will not want to support her. Actually, one of our U.S. senators, Manchin, Joe Manchin, criticized the GOP's behavior toward Judge Kentanji Brown Jackson during one of her hearings. It was, he noted how she was constantly interrupted. Constantly. Mm-hmm. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, it's happening at all levels, in so many different spaces. You can't hear a woman. You certainly shouldn't be listening to a Black woman. And if you hear them, you can't really be listening, and you can't listen for long, or you can't hear for long. And it's just very reflective of the fact that we are still just not very well received.
And you got to shut them up. Think about
you have to reclaim your time, right?
How often that even happens, like in our space. Like, how often are we told, why are you talking about that? Why are you doing that? Why you like, you can go to a different space. Like, why are you worried about what I'm talking about? I'm talking about what I want to talk about. Like, you go worry about what you want to worry about and talk about what you want to talk about. Like, it's just like this ingrained like emotion to be like, nah, I don't want you to silence you. You know what I mean? Like, I should be talking about that. So I'm going to try to dictate what you do. You know what I mean? It's so weird.
And I also wanted to say, like, I like the fact that she shows women that we can have it all, right? I think one of the talking points of a lot of, not all, okay, but a lot of men in these manosphere spaces is that women's places in the home, they're out of order, they're being masculine, they're not taught to be wives, they're taught to go get the bag and all of this. And I believe that, unfortunately, especially in our community, women aren't learning. Well, they aren't learning a lot of things about being a wife. A lot of men aren't learning how to be husbands either, but they don't want to talk about that. But I think that teaching a girl to go after her dreams is not opposite or discouraging of her also being a wife and a mom. And I think that, I'm just sick of this narrative, which makes no sense because women do it every day. I'm sick of this narrative that we cannot do it.
But like, actually,
we literally do it every day.
But all you need to do is literally just look at the statistics, right? Yeah. And statistically, that whole conversation makes no sense. Like it makes no sense. Like, and they need to be in whose house?
I know.
Whose house? Who's buying the houses? What are you talking about? Like it doesn't.
Right.
It's just like a wasted conversation of just saying things because you just like to hear yourself talk. Like that's literally what it is. Because what I'm saying is statistics, and it's not just my opinion and how I feel. Statistics don't even bear out what you're saying. Women don't know how to be in the home. Okay, what does that mean? What home? Whose home? You have a home? What is going on? No, seriously. I'm for real.
We need to teach people to know who they are and start reinforcing the need for personal identity. Like
you trying to turn
just said it so
take
clearly.
The suicide rate up. Once people start figuring out who they is, they're gonna start killing themselves.
Hey, I'm telling you, like I just with this particular group of men that we're speaking of, and others that are just rejecting reality, that in 2022 that there are Black women who work and they manage a marriage and they manage a family. Right. It's all these extremes. Well, if you working, you ain't taking care of the kids. Well, if you're taking care of the kids at home, then you're not contributing financially to the household. All these different extremes, they only point out what I just said. Like, it's just so easy to criticize and identify the flaws and everything else but yourself. Like, seriously, a lot of these people would get married or accomplish whatever goal they're trying to accomplish in terms of relationships, career, or whatever, if they know who they are internally. And what I see with a lot of successful people, including Mrs. Kentanji Brown Jackson, is she knows what she wants, obviously. She has a family that is very supportive of her. They have stood behind her in these hearings. There has been a lot of ridiculous, like that question, well, what is a woman? I forget who asked her that, but just all these ridiculous things. She already has to go in there with people who are deflecting, and then she got to get it from her own community. You know, it's like she's literally being badgered on social media. I hope she threw her cell phone away. I hope she's communicating with a flip phone, because it's just ridiculous. Like the lack of with instead of teaching roles and what people are supposed to do, teach people how to find out who they are. Let me just say that as a counselor, as a therapist, it would just I would probably make less money if people just knew who they were. Because that's the root of it all. I'm telling you, that is the root of it all.
Yeah. And Dara, I like what you also said about your family. It makes more sense for you to stay home.
Right.
So you all decided what was best for your family. And I think it's important. Women, we make sacrifices, right? So as a wife, you're going to make sacrifices. So if your husband has a better paying job, then, you stay home, right? And you take care of the house. And so you might sacrifice that career. It's for your family. And I think that's great. And I think women should aspire for that. We should applaud that. But I also know for a fact that the reality, we have to talk about the reality. And I think Darwin and Cannon were hitting on this. A lot of men who are preaching these things are not necessarily going after a certain goal. We've had men right here on this podcast saying, well, women are delusional and are asking for too much when they want their husband to make more than 42 grand a year. A lot of men are saying, well, why is it that Black women are asking for more than 42K a year when other races of women are not asking that of their men? And there are just so many aspects of that conversation that they're avoiding. They're avoiding the fact that other races have a significantly higher wealth than us. And a lot of men in other races are looking toward better and more. So my question would be is, if you want a woman at home, then what is your goal? What will be the outlook? What program are we getting on? They always talk about us getting on their program. What program is that? Dara, your husband had a program, right? He had goals, and you're there to support him. And so that's always my question for these guys who are like, well, why is it that I got to make more than 30 grand a year? I'm like, hello, but you want a wife that stays at home. And I'm like, or a wife that's willing to stay at home, or a wife that's not really what they're saying. They want a wife that's not as successful as a woman like Kentanji Brown, or more successful than them, right? Because on 30 grand a year, you're going to need a wife that works, right? And so it just makes no sense.
I think it's good. It's a great balance if the wife or the husband stay at home and one person can work and make the money, because you have someone taking care of the kids and you have someone making the money, and it's a great balance. But at the same time, you have to think about your mental too, right? Everybody has goals, everybody has aspirations, right? And it's okay to like Daryl, I'm saying your name right, Dara?
Yes, it's Dara.
Dara, you say you're gonna you have things you want to do, and maybe it'll change once your kids become of age. And if you're in a good headspace with that, that's cool. But I know a lot of people, not just women, but men too, who sometimes put their things that they want to do on the back burner, and then they end up resenting their mate because things didn't pan out when they thought it was their time to start doing their things, right? And sometimes, but it's all about that mentality. And if y'all talk about it and y'all transparent about it, then and you got the support from him, and or he has it from you, then I guess it's going to all work out. But I just want to make everybody mindful that just be in a good headspace when you're sacrificing, because you don't know what the future holds. So when you make those sacrifices, you could potentially be ending your goal right there. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to happen. Health issues can happen, and you can never do some things that you want to do, or anything. I'm I knock on wood, but I hope everybody accomplishes what they want to accomplish, and everybody gets to do what they want to do. Because that's life. Everybody should do what they want to do that makes them happy. And if you got a good support behind you, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
You on mute.
Oh, Sarah, I'm mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think what gets lost in translation a lot is that I am doing what I want to do. I'm blessed to be able to do what I want to do at this time, and that's be with my children. When I was working, it was hectic. It was a night gig. It was here and there. My family wasn't, our vision and our mindset wasn't as one. So coming home allowed us to realign. We are pushing. I am kind of like the glue at this moment, but that makes me happy. You get what I'm saying? It was a time where I had the career, I had this, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. If you ask me if I was gone tomorrow, would I be happy with what I had accomplished in life? And I would say no. Today, I can honestly say if something was to happen to me tomorrow, I would be fulfilled. I would be happy. I would feel as if tending to my family filled me. You get what I'm saying? So in the world I found at that time, maybe it needed to be a realignment, or, what I think about doing is going to law school once my girls are done. But I honestly know that these next 6 to 8 years are crucial, and I really want to spend them with my daughters.
Oh yeah.
And I would not give that time up for anything. Not a law degree, not to be at somebody's job, not and another thing. Okay, I left my job with whatever amount of money. I was able to do more sitting at home than I was able to do in traffic here and there, going to somebody's place of employment. So I think there needs to be a shift in mindset about what you're able to accomplish just from pursuing a career that's notable or that people hold in high esteem, and what you're able and what's tangible and intangible.
See, I'm you on the flip side. I was a stay-at-home father.
Okay.
So that's why I was I can kind of relate to what you're doing. My wife actually egged me on to quit my jobs, and because I wasn't happy, I was complaining about them, and she was like, you know what, you better than that. Them jobs is not you. Just quit them. She was making good money, and I was just stay-at-home father for like 2 or 3 years, and I was able to just sit back and take care of my daughter. I enjoy cooking, so that was my therapeutic place, and I got a game plan, and I'm putting that together. Like you said, I've been making more money than I was when I was working, so it's but I had that support. We was transparent, we communicated, and I had times where I felt like I fell into that manosphere mentality, like, oh, I need to be making more money, and this a man should be doing this, a man should be that, and I had to check myself. And if I didn't have the support and I didn't have her in my ear, and I know most women get that stigma, like if your man is not making as much money as you, then you're not getting respect. But it's the total. I was getting respect, because I was doing the things to get the respect. So I never stayed down on myself about not working and stuff like that, So I was just, trying to, put a lot of things out there about people who are listening to us, and they might get the wrong impression, but everything is achievable when you got that right mindset, like you said.
Someone says in the chat, Titanium says, Dara, you can go back. I have a friend who went to law school and started her own practice by the time her daughter was in high school, so it can be done. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I have a friend who worked for about, let me see, how long did she work? Maybe about 6 years. And then she said, you know what? I'm done with this. And she was a teacher, and she's like, I'm done with this. I'm going to school to teach. I'm going to work every day to teach other people's kids. But I have home now. She by her second child, she was like, I want to stay home with my own kids now. And so she did that. But there's
the kids changed her mind.
There's a season for everything, because now her kids are a tad bit older. They're still young, but they're not babies anymore, right? And so now she's like writing books, and she's going around, traveling around the city, promoting her book. She had a clothing store. Like, she's fulfilling her dreams and her goals. And I look at her and I'm like, you have it all. She's a wife, a mom. She did the stay-at-home mom thing. She worked for a while. She's successful in her own right. She's college educated. She has a master's degree. Her kids are doing wonderfully. Her husband, she and her husband seem very happy. And so it's like, it's possible. It takes work. It takes work. It takes sacrifice. And I think we have to stop trying to tell other people how to live their lives. Like, everybody can't do what Dara did. For some people, it worked. For what Dara did works. For some people, it works for them to, continue to work. And I just hate that we are trying to force people into our ideal of what should be done.
All these different boxes. I did both. And now I'm thinking about the balance for me is not working too much and not taking on so many things, because I have just one daughter, and she's at that pivotal time of her life. She's 10 years old. She just reached double digits. I find myself not wanting to miss certain things just because I have to work or somebody needs me for this, or I actually worked part-time, and I was in a situation where when she was a baby, it was like, okay, after I had a baby, y'all ain't gonna see me for a while, not having any clients, not gonna do anything. And I found myself, running the household, my husband worked, and then it was like, okay, I'm ready to get back into the counseling therapy. And I had to slowly creep back in there. And now I'm up to the full-time status now. And it's like, I'm ready to cut back now. So I do think there are challenges, and because what Dara was describing, I can really relate to a lot of that. Just having these moments where it's like, I'm missing this, and I don't need to be missing this. So now I'm trying to really literally get myself into a situation where I might consult with different agencies or do different things. I don't want to be tied down, because when you tie down to one thing, it's like that freedom of, okay, I want to miss this. I want to be able to do this. It's just really a balance. And I commend, other Black women and women just in general for just balancing. And I think too, the mindset that's this whole stay at home moms, I want to rename y'all, because that ain't enough. You know, y'all are like family life managers. That's what you are, you know. Because when you really break down everything, and there, I mean, you can speak more to this because this is your current situation. But I know when I was doing it, it was more than just staying home, taking care of kids, running errands, paying bills. It was planning vacations and family meals, and you know, I was into couponing for a minute, and you know, I got a book I've been working on for the longest, and things like that. All these different things that stay at home moms contribute to, blogs and teaching other moms, you know, shortcuts and getting notes from other moms on how to do certain things. I was really big on that. You know, so I just think these different boxes that we just put each other in, we just need to stop categorizing life and just start really respecting people for their hustle and what their life is. You know, there's no one way to run a Black family. There's not a one way to run a Black family. It's not.
Right.
And we know better than this because a lot of us, let's just be honest, because I know Cannon, you know, Cannon's talked about being that eldest sibling, and me and her have had side conversations about being a woman and being Black and being the eldest sibling and all these other responsibilities that come with being that. We should know better by now that this whole leave it to Beaver fantasy that the manosphere is trying to. Not, a lot of us were not raised in that. A lot of us had grandma, granddaddy, auntie, uncle, mama, daddy that lived all kind of in this close vicinity of each other. Or some of us grew up with single moms and single dads, and that didn't keep us from accomplishing certain goals. I just, you know, we should know better than to just put all of us in these certain boxes.
Yeah.
You know.
And then it's just not realistic. Like, let's be real. I want fellas, if y'all listening, call in because I want to understand. I don't understand like why there's so much criticism of Black women who have these very ambitious goals when the truth of the matter is that in most cases a woman will have to work. Not everybody will have the option to do what my friend did or what Dara did or what Jobo did, right? Not everybody has that option, right? And that's no shade to them. That's no shade to their husbands, right? That's just the reality of it, you know. And Black men, I think they know this, right? So I'm trying to figure out. So you're okay with your woman working, so is it that you just don't want her to make more than you? And it's like when can they're not going to necessarily be honest about it.
No, they're not gonna be honest because the honesty is insecurity, right? They woman can work, but they woman can't have a powerful job. They'll let they woman go and work some night shifts at IHOP, you know what I'm saying, and be cool, but let they woman get a powerful job where she's respected by others, especially other men, and you know, and she's feeling important, and now she has this self-esteem about herself where she's talking more like she's a liberated woman. They're not gonna be able to handle that type of working, you know. Like, it's okay, go make $300 for the week, you know what I'm saying, so we can pay this little light bill. But let that woman go and make another $100,000 and become important to other people other than him. Oh, there's gonna be a problem.
You know what you just reminded me of? That episode of Good Times. And my co-host know, I know Candy knows. I love 70s sitcom. We were texting in the group chat one day about, you know, Good Times. That episode where Florida decided she gonna get her GED. James almost lost his mind. And I'm just like, why? This could be an opportunity for you and the whole entire family. But again, it started centering around how am I going to look as a man? It's ridiculous.
But
okay, we have a caller. Hold the thought. We have a caller. Caller, thank you for calling in. Welcome to the ladies' room. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? This is We on Lock Nation. How's everybody doing?
Hey, We on Lock Nation. I see he comes and visits us quite a bit. Thank you.
How you doing?
What's up, my brother?
I'm good. So there's a bit of controversy out there in the real world versus the computer world. Will Smith smacking the crap out of Chris Black. In my opinion, I think he was wrong for that. But in a protective perspective of things, I see that there's a lot of women that complain that there's not so much protection from the black man. Well, obviously you saw it last night. It was the wrong place at the wrong time. But in all context and all respect, I respect Will Smith for taking up for his wife, but that was really the wrong time.
Yeah, we gonna talk about that on the
Yeah,
next.
we're definitely gonna talk about that. Did you have anything to add about the current conversation concerning Kentanji Brown and some of the things we talked about? Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I had just came in. I was doing some things with my son and my daughter. They had just left for Easter rehearsal.
Oh, okay. Well,
can we ask you something?
We gonna touch on that.
Yeah, because I want to know the caller's opinion about that. We were talking really about quote unquote gender roles, and what are your thoughts on women who are professional? They're in positions of power, but they're also balancing marriage and family life. What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
That's been happening since all that's been happening since the beginning when I was born. The beginning of war, as a matter of fact, there have been telltales when my grandmother's been talking about when World War I started. When all the men were out fighting for, whatever they were fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
The women were staying at home doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, and doing the manly things. So, and then on top of that, I mean, I really don't see what the problem is for a woman being a leader in her household. I mean, birthing a kid for 9 months, and you have a connection with that child, and the child has a connection with you. You as a male are there to see that there's no harm there's no harm put to the woman or that child. So in factuality, both of you can be leaders of your household. The man has but the man has to be the standard. But when he dies off, guess who's behind him?
Yeah.
You, the female. Because not only do you share his masculinity, you become masculine because you share his energy. You have his energy there to become not only wearing the pants and the apron.
Mm-hmm.
If something were to happen, you don't know how powerful a woman can be if she is messed with. There are plenty of powerful women out there, mentally and physically, when they're currently being loved and protected by their husband. But if something were to happen to her husband, you have no choice but to become that one because you're sharing all of his energy until she remarries. She's gonna have to be in her femininity for that next husband or whatever. But knock on wood, hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't see nothing wrong with it at all.
Okay. All right. We had talked a little bit about how some people, not all, right, but quite a considerable number of people, and they happen to be, Black men on social media had a negative response to Kentanji. And I think a lot of times, a lot of these men who share some of those beliefs, they just had a negative response. And it's like, it seems to be that a successful Black woman is seen as a detriment to our community. And
Okay, I would tell you. Okay, let me say this. Stop listening to the damn minister.
They're
Okay,
everywhere.
okay, but it's a small amount. I'll say 0.5% of them don't even like their own mothers. So stop listening to the manosphere, and on top of that, stop listening to the womansphere too. There is no balance there's no positive balance when it comes to that. You have to have equal amount of balance, negative and positive. If it's all positive all the time, negative does not equal a positive. It does not equal a positive in this world, in this day and age. These are the same people, mind you, that say if I'm married and I'll pay 100% of the bills, I should be able to do whatever I want, which was bring a woman home to my house,
crazy,
another woman home to my house, and do whatever I want with her, even though you're in the house.
Yeah.
Or she should be subjected to me. I was like, it works both ways, sir. She's supposed to be subjected to you, but vice versa. Because you're under who? You're under God. You're not under man. And so but what? See, here's another thing. It has a ripple effect. You know how you throw a lake in the pond and it skips and it has all those ripples?
Mm-hmm.
So you have non-fundamentals. You don't have chivalry. You have a whole bunch of bashing, sexual deviancy, and almost damn near predatory behavior. All these things should be eliminated immediately. They're putting men in a very bad space, in a very bad particular space, and I'm even ashamed of being a man myself. But however, I, a content creator myself, brings balance. If I do something wrong, I want a person of my stature, namely my elder, to hold me accountable for my actions. Same thing with the woman. A woman, if she does something that's a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, I was like, well, let's bring this back center.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? But but stop. Just stop listening to them, because there are 35, 50-year-old men who don't even like their own moms. So just stop.
All right. Thank you. You said some very interesting things, and I appreciate you so much. Make sure you tune in and drop your link in our chat for your show, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And call back too. We're gonna talk about this Will Smith thing.
Oh yeah.
Apparently Darwin brought a championship belt. This is gonna be interesting.
All right. So anyway, it's so funny, y'all. My students are in the chat right now, y'all.
I see.
Uh-oh.
Y'all go do some homework. I'm just playing. Hey everyone. But yes, this is Miss Patterson.
I'm gonna watch my mouth.
So
they done found you. Oh Lord.
I know. Oh my Lord. They found me. I knew they found me, but I didn't know. Oh Lord. I thought they were gonna not come back. But anyway, hello. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Is there someone who wants to close us out though on that topic?
I just want to say one thing. Black women, keep winning. Just keep winning. People in life, just continue to be successful. Don't let the attitudes and beliefs of others stop you in your pursuit to success and happiness. People gonna always have a problem with what you do, and normally their problems have nothing to do with you. It has more to do with them.
Exactly.
And if this Kentanji woman, I don't know too much about her, I'm not a political person. If she's anything like my wife, I'm pretty sure she's handling her home life and her business, her career very well. if my wife can do it, I know other women can do it too. So, shout out to her. It's a hard task. I know what she's going through because I see what my wife is doing. I support her, and I don't take anything for granted about what women do to overcome those hills and that equality. So just a big shout out to her, and I hope she gets her seat. And that's just another milestone that us as Black people will reach. And I hope she gets support that she's supposed to from everybody that looks like her.
All right, y'all. Thank you. Good stuff. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to the Ladies Room. I am your co-host, Ashley Michelle. And I have my whole squad here, Mrs. Cannon Hill, Mrs. Jovo. We got Mr. Darwin Hill. Mrs. Understanding is out celebrating her anniversary with her husband now. But we do have a special guest, Dara, with us. And we just finished talking about Kentanji Brown, and we're going to move on to our next topic, okay? We talk about everything from dating, love, marriage. We talk about family relationships, parenting, societal issues. We talk about it all right here in the Ladies Room. If you are not a part of our group chat on Facebook, please join us, all right? It's called the Ladies Room Group Chat. All right, you should be able to find us that way. The Ladies Room Group Chat. There should also be a link below this video after we're done. I'll put a link there. All right, next topic, y'all. We got the champ in the house.
Oh my God.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness.
We 1-0, baby. We 1-0. We 1-0.
Oh wow.
All right. So we are talking about Will Smith. All right. Everyone's been talking about it, but we're going to add our commentary about this whole incident. This is going to be an interesting one because I have read some of you all's opinions on Facebook in our group, and I disagree a little bit. So
I have several.
We got some differing opinions here. So I want to go ahead. Get excited. Who wants to start?
I've been in Facebook jail for like 20 days. I haven't been able to talk about it.
Oh no!
I've just been seeing stuff. I ain't been able to say nothing.
I bet it's hurting you, Darwin.
Oh, it's about to go down. We 1-0, baby. We 1-0.
All right, go ahead. Who wants to start us out?
Even though I got
we need to let Darwin start because I'm just curious because I've heard different opinions from different men. I want to hear from Darwin and his championship belt. It's the belt for me today.
We got a victory. The real man has just got a victory. We 1-0. We've been wanting to slap some clowns for a long time, and I'm glad somebody that with a nice platform was able to do it. I don't condone violence. I'm lying. I do, but this was the perfect opportunity for everybody to see a real man stand up for his woman, stand up for his wife. Billions of people watching it because I think it gave a lot of women, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of women hope that there are men out there that will protect them, right? Because a lot of women have been saying that they don't get the protection that they need, and I agree with them. But this was one of those moments where even though he was wrong, but he was right. I'm gonna say that. He could have handled it a different way, but hey, we ain't about to get into all of that. He did what he had to do for his woman in that moment, and that's all you can ask for. A lot of people do a lot of wrong things, but they do it for the wrong reasons. He did the wrong thing for the right reason, and he taking the backlash for it or whatever he has to do, just like any man would, celebrity or non-celebrity. It doesn't matter about his status right now, and I'm sick and tired of people trying to talk about because he's rich, he's not gonna. It don't matter. In that moment, he wasn't thinking about no money. He wasn't thinking about who he was. He wasn't thinking about his next acting gig. He was thinking about his wife. And you can tell he was thinking about his wife because he was laughing at first. But when he saw his wife and how she looked, it immediately like, hey, protection mode. And that's what real men do. That's what real men do for their wife. And I don't think a lot of women, I don't even think a lot of women ever exhibit a man protecting them. You know, I've been hearing a lot of women saying like that wasn't protection, and you know, and Jada should have stopped him. And no, Jada wanted to live in that moment of being protected. You know, and she felt like, you know, I had a lot of people protect me. I was a young kid, you know, but like my father, like when you're at the park and you're getting bullied or something, and your father comes over, he's peeping it from afar, right? He comes over and he's whispering in your ear, tell you what to do in that moment, and you feel that protection, like someone just protected me and told me what to do and this and that. So I can kind of feel how she felt in that moment to a certain extent, like, because I know what it feels like to be protected, and that's how she felt. She wasn't about to stop that man from protecting her. Why should she? You know, and it's just a lot of layers to this, though. So
It is.
you know, and I can go on and talk about all the layers that I want to talk about, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna just dibble and dabble. But we 1-0. We 1-0, baby.
Talk about it.
We 1-0. Next, who next on the list?
Okay, so you do think that he didn't necessarily make the right choice. He didn't do the right thing, but you do honor the fact that he did it for his wife.
I think you know. I think he did the right thing. I'm a fighter, so I would have slapped him too. But I would have known I'm wrong. But I can accept me being wrong. I'm cool with being wrong. There's a lot of people who's not okay with being wrong. But I'm cool with being wrong, and I think he cool with being wrong, especially when you're passionate about something, right? And you know, he could have pulled him to the side, but hey, ain't no time for that. It happened, and everybody in the world saw it, so everybody in the world needs to see this slap. That's an eye for an eye to me. That's an eye for an eye.
All right, who else? Jared, what do you think?
Well, I'm riding with the Smiths, absolutely, positively, all through this. I'm just honestly, the only person I feel sad for, I feel kind of for Chris Rock. I will start by saying I think it was staged. I do think it was staged. But if it wasn't, I'm still riding with him. I do think Chris Rock caught like the brunt of a lot of pent-up frustration from people basically trying to make Will leave his marriage for something that he's not even bothered by. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm like, you know, the Jada bashing, and I mean, like, are they in an open marriage or no? Are they swingers or not? I don't care, but I'm just saying, like, I never hear anybody put Will Smith's proclivities or his entanglements out there like that. I just hear how she demeans, you know, everyone thinks she demeans him on every level so that she's not entitled to the protection as a wife. It makes zero sense to me. I do believe that the joke, if it had many layers, like people are claiming, the Demi Moores, the alopecia, you know, all of that. If you wrap it all up, it sounds kind of bad. I do think it was an overreaction to the pressure that's been kind of put on him as a man through the past couple years, you know. So I don't know. I'm rocking with the Smiths on this one. He felt like he had, I don't want to say protect though. I think it's more of a, I don't know the correct term for it, but I wouldn't call it necessarily protection. And if he was protecting anybody, it was himself. It was his ego. And Chris Rock just kind of caught what anybody at the wrong time would have caught. And that's how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, was it wrong? Possibly. Am I still rocking with them? Yeah, because that's just how I do.
If he was protecting his ego, that's a strong ego, because he been getting it for a long time.
Oh, he's a professional. He's a professional, and that's why I say that I think this could have been staged too. Because I mean, look at it. The Oscars, they stand to win. I mean, who cares about the Oscars? No one's been watching the Oscars. They haven't. I mean, Will Smith basically takes his I don't want to call it manhood, because I don't think he really lost his manhood. I think people are imposing their feelings on his manhood. But, you know, he wins because, okay, now in society's eyes, or the people who don't matter, or the people in that group, you know, he's no longer a simp. Or,
but Daryl, why? This is the same man who boycotted the Oscars. I don't think he would put his reputation on the line for the Oscars ratings. Like,
I mean, but you have to think his reputation is so pristine that this will be in my opinion, I do think it'll mar his first Oscar win or whatnot. I do think it'll be like a blip, but he's been so precise over the past whatever years. He can afford to do that, and especially with the timing of everything with him and his marriage and the publicity they get and him getting back and good, it won't do anything. If he was gonna do anything, they would have kicked him out. How do you slap somebody and not get kicked out?
Daryl, that's Will Smith. I don't think a lot of people understand the power that Will Smith has in Hollywood.
Oh, he does.
And I think a lot of people put too much on it, right? They look at celebrities and they think celebrities are like gods, right? Like, oh, he should have done this, he could have done that. Oh, like no, he's a human being. Right. Yes, he has been professional, he has been holding it together for all these years, but at the same time, he's human and he's gonna break eventually, especially when people keep on pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding, right? So when he does it, of course, a lot of people goes to, oh, it was staged, because Will Smith, he can't have a breakdown. Well, he can have a breakdown. We saw him break down a little bit when he was crying and stuff like that, but I don't think that was a real breakdown. I think that was him being emotional, and a lot of people don't think men can be emotional. But that right there, I think it wasn't for the ratings, because he's Will Smith. He doesn't need to do anything for him to prosper as far as getting attention. He's winning an Oscar right now. Not like, what else does he need to do to maintain some type of stature in Hollywood or with the world? Like, the world's been talking about him since for a long, before Jada was talking about the red carpet. The world's been talking about him when he was just a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when he was dancing, when he's not cursing. The world's been talking about Will Smith, calling him a cornball, all of this for the longest, for 30 plus years, and he's still been rising to the top. So I don't think he would have staged this. Only person that
I hope not.
You know, and if he was staged it, everybody did a good job of acting. Just not him or Chris Rock. Everybody.
I don't think it was staged. I definitely think it was real. I think Chris Rock didn't respond because he was shocked. I think he was shocked. It seems like they had some type of relationship there. I've seen many pictures of them together, right? Laughing, seeming to be very cordial with each other. And Will Smith is also a comedian. So I think Chris Rock was just really shocked that
on three levels, right? Because you're a comedian, you supposed to got this. 2, this the Oscars. I know you ain't about to come and steal on me at the Oscars. Yeah. And 3, you was just laughing. Like you didn't say, like, most time when people about to fight, they mad, they talk first, right? Most people talk first. Will didn't say nothing. He just, so I think he was very shocked. You're right. He was definitely shocked.
I disagree a little bit with y'all though. I think that he wanted to protect his wife in that situation. I wouldn't call it necessarily protection.
It was honor. I think it was honor.
Nothing. Okay, it was honor. There was nothing. She wasn't in danger, right? There was no danger. He was protecting her honor. I get that, right? Okay. So you want to defend your wife. I get that. But does that mean that the decision was right? I don't think it was right. I mean, he assaulted another man, right? And I don't like Chris Rock's joke. And I'm consistent when it comes to jokes across the board. I don't like when people joke about people with mental disabilities. I don't like when people joke about people with physical disabilities. I don't like when people joke about various things. I don't really care for comedians to joke about people in the audience and the way they look. That's just me. I think you need to find other jokes. Like, that's me. And so I know that some people are like, well, if this was on the street, he would have got popped. But I don't know, because people, like, you guys have been to comedy shows And when people get roasted, everybody expects them to just suck it up, right? So, but anyway, I think that Will definitely acted out of emotion. Like you said, Darwin, he was laughing, but he saw that Jada didn't like it. And so that stirred up some emotion in him, and it caused him to go and punch or slap another man. And I think that, that was definitely emotionally driven. I think that Will Smith is a human being. He makes mistakes like everyone else, right? We can't expect him to just be perfect, right, all the time or anytime. But I think the choice was I found it to be distasteful. And I don't think, like, as a woman, I would want my husband to do that, because it just jeopardizes too much. This was actually on TV, and if Chris Rock wanted to, he could press charges. He could press charges. Will Smith could have and probably should have gone to jail that night.
Well, he's Will Smith. He's not going to jail for a slap.
Of course he's not, because he's Will Smith. I know that. The point is that the choice wasn't very smart. The choice, to me, was not a smart decision. It really tainted his Oscar win, and I think it was very disrespectful to Chris Rock, and I don't like Chris Rock's joke. I think Chris Rock owes Jada an apology. Even if he didn't know about the alopecia, I think he still owes her an apology, just because, I'm not really a big fan of comedians joking about people in the audience. Like, I'm just not a big fan of that, or joking about the way people look, period. But not when it's something, that they can't control, right? But I think that two wrongs don't make a right, right? I think Will was very distasteful. And I really hate it, because now his Oscar win, is going to always be remembered alongside this. And I know
it doesn't have to be, though.
And I think only our folks would think like that, right? Because it's so many whites that's done way worse, who's won Oscars, pedophilia, all types of things, and their Oscars not tainted. So why does Will Smith Oscar has to be tainted? This Oscar not tainted.
I don't think that
he just put some sprinkles on that motherfucker. He just put some sprinkles on that motherfucker to me.
Yeah, I think because who is it? The guy, not Epstein, but the other Hollywood guy,
Roman Polanski.
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
the one who won the Oscar, and someone else accepted it for him because he had absconded out of the country after he got convicted of raping a 13-year-old girl.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't know about that one. I was thinking about the other guy.
Oh, Woody Allen. That one. The one
no, there's a more recent.
Oh, okay.
There's a more recent one. What was his name?
Guillermo del Toro, him. I can name them all day. We can keep going down.
Right.
So basically, the point is, you're right. Like, I don't necessarily think he should lose his Oscar, because he got the Oscar for his work. His work is still valid. His work is his work. It's already done. And I believe that he should keep his Oscar. When I say it's tainted, I just think that from now on, because that was his first Oscar, and everybody was like, Will Smith has never won an Oscar, never. And that was his first one. And so people gonna remember that. And so now people are always gonna say, oh yeah.
But whatever happened to good publicity bad publicity is good publicity. Whatever happened to that?
Okay, babe, look, I've been patiently waiting. Okay,
go ahead.
You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Mrs. Hey, go ahead, because we want to know. Want to know?
Okay. The thing is, first things first, Oscars are a joke. Like, who cares at the end of the day? I mean, I just named to you so many reasons for why the Oscars are a joke. Like, they're like all this respectability, because his Oscar, like, who really cares at the end of the day? What does that really mean? Like, that's what I mean about principles. Like, what are the principles? Like, when I saw it, to me, it was just like, oh my God, he did that. And then I just went on about myself. And it was like, whatever. Like, it was just like, I agreed with exactly what Chris Rock said. This will go down as one of the greatest moments in television, right? It'll be one of those things like, remember that time when Will Smith walked in and slapped it up? That's all that means. This is entertainment, people. This is entertainment These are entertainers, whether it was real, fake, whatever, it doesn't matter. One millionaire slapped another millionaire at a stupid award show that doesn't mean anything, like in real life. Like, who cares? Is all I'm saying. Like, I don't have any respect for no Oscars. Like,
well, you don't, but a lot of people do, especially.
But that's why I said about principles. And I don't care about those people because their principles are off. Because what I'm saying is, if when you're giving Oscars to all of these freaking people who have done horrible things, then what is really the value of that thing? Also, when you are when they just boycotted the Oscars not too long ago because of their underrepresentation of Black people. So as a Black, I don't care, is what I'm saying. Anybody else who cares, fine, you can care. If that helps your life some kind of way, knock yourself out, right? So that wasn't even my issue. That's how much I thought about it. That's how much I wasn't invested in it. Like, ooh, and then he was protecting it. I didn't even put all that thought into it, right? It was like, whatever. But for me, like I say, it's the principles of it. I saw some of the same people who were defending Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, who will slap their own kids in the mouth for saying the wrong thing whenever they feel like it, right? Having all of these this feigned, newfound morals and values when it comes to decorum, when it comes to violence. Like I say, you so concerned about a grown man that grown millionaire slapping another grown millionaire. You have no problem slapping your kid across the room just because they said something you don't like.
What are
your principles?
Where did all that hate stem from, though?
Let me finish. Right. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Get there.
So, like, for me, my question always is, why is this so ideologically inconsistent? What is the problem? Like, I don't understand. And then I figured it out. At the end of the day, it's because they don't like Jada Pinkett. And why don't they like Jada Pinkett? They don't like Jada Pinkett because she has the audacity to be
liberated.
Spirited, liberated Black woman, not woman, because it can't just be woman, because I've literally seen these men sit up and praise Kim Kardashian for being a smart businesswoman, and she's before her, I don't know what's going on after the Kanye.
And her inner Black woman, don't forget her inner Black woman.
But before her falling out with Kanye and all of that, she had all the respect from them in the world. She's a smart bitch. She got a whole tape out where you can literally see what she's literally doing. That's forever, but she has respectability some kind of way. Her value was not diminished some kind of way. If you listen to what Will Smith has said a million times, he stated that when he met this lady, he knew that she did not want a traditional marriage. He went into agency. What I say early, agency. Give this man his agency. Why do we keep taking men's agency away from them? Like they don't got the agency to not have sex with anybody. They don't have the agency to not go up and slap somebody. She got to stop them from going to do that. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, when I brought up Bill Cosby, because in the whole discussion about Bill Cosby, forget whether or not people believe, they believe he was guilty or not. At the end of the day, not one person, I didn't see anybody bringing up how he was embarrassing his wife. I didn't hear anybody bringing up how the fact that they believed that he slept with those women. They had a question on whether or not it was involuntary or not. Never in that did they ever say, well, he wrong because he look at him embarrassing his wife, sleeping with all these women, doing all of this stuff. Never happened. But all of a sudden, because Will and Jada have decided whatever they're going to do in their marriage, but Jada is a Black woman and she does not have the right to behave that way. She does not have the right to do that. Because guess what? What did they say on what? When we was on the last week? A woman's value, I'm sorry, we got to put Black in front of it. A Black woman's value is diminished by her sexual history, right? They're mad because Will still values her. He still values her. And they're mad. That's what that's about, period. All of this other stuff, this is what this is about. People need to really look in the mirror and figure out why they're having the reaction.
I think that's the case for a lot of these men. I can see that. I can see, Will Smith.
It's not just the men, though. It's not just the men.
But I don't know. I disagree with that because, like, I feel like, I have no, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, I don't understand the relationship. It's not for me to understand. Right. But I don't criticize him for staying. I don't criticize that situation with her and August, whatever his name was. because they chose to have this type of marriage. You know, there are a lot of brothers like, and a lot, not just brothers, just men in general, but I usually see it from brothers who are like, oh, he's a simp, he's emasculated, he's this and he's that. But they're not acknowledging the fact that he went into this marriage and he has been consistently for them having an open marriage, right? So this is what they have, right? And it's funny because I think a lot of guys and a lot of these guys will probably be okay with open marriages until it's the wife that's actually out here having sex.
But
right?
that's exactly the
And
point.
so
Because the man is expected.
But
the
there
man
are
is not expected to have any type
exactly
of sexual discipline, but the woman is expected to.
Right.
But the point that I'm making is not necessarily what I'm saying is to anybody who's just all anti-violence and all these other things. Fine, y'all can have that. But I'm talking about specifically just be ideologically consistent and also know what we're talking about and know what we're looking at. I don't care about somebody slapping somebody at some Oscars. It's not like who, like, oh, okay, Will Smith is gonna be okay. I promise to God, Will Smith is gonna be okay.
And it's not
I
just
promise to God, Chris Rock gonna be okay.
Yeah,
what like
they're gonna definitely
like nothing is gonna happen. It's gonna be.
They're gonna profit.
Like, everything is gonna be okay.
They're gonna capitalize off of it,
right?
But my you talked about principles. So my principle is that, like, you need to have some self-control. One, and then two, I don't believe that you have the right to just go up to somebody and punch him in their face. Now, I'm not saying
but the thing is
that there are not situations where
he felt like he did
I'm out, but
and he did it.
If let's say I'm with the man, right? There are situations where I would want him to get physical, right? That would not have been a situation where I would have wanted him to get physical. There's just too much at stake outside of Will Smith.
It's not though.
Nothing at stake.
It's not. That no.
Okay. It's not.
What I'm saying is that we're thinking about it through the lens of our understanding.
But I'm saying outside of Will Smith,
nothing at stake. I promise you, he gonna be good.
I know that. But what I'm saying, outside of Will Smith, I would not have wanted that. Like, I'm not just talking about this situation. I mean, in this situation. But even in this situation, I don't think I would want my husband to be up on stage hitting somebody. I just don't think that was right.
But we're talking about Will and Jada though, right?
What do you mean?
We're talking about Will and we're not talking about Ashley being at the Grammys and what she
wanted. No, I'm just giving my opinion.
Right.
So you have your opinion. You're saying that you don't think there's anything wrong with
that's not what I said. No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say he was protecting her. I didn't even make it that deep. What I'm saying is that it's entertainment. All these people are entertainers, right? And what I'm saying is that my outrage can't go there when there's so many different things that are actually impact people and that people are actually impacted by that are harmful, is what I'm saying. Like how you have all those people that I just named that have actually harmed people. That's where my outrage sits. My outrage doesn't sit for Chris Rock's face that Will Smith smacked, and maybe that wasn't even the first time Will Smith smacked him. Maybe that was like he was so comfortable doing it. I don't know what their relationship is. I don't know what them people do.
But can we focus on this though? So do you think that Will Smith was right or wrong? Not that our opinion even matters. Not that
it's not up to me to decide whether or not he was right or wrong.
But everybody has an opinion. I just want to know what you think.
He used his agency, right? And like you said, because of whatever, like risking something or whatever, that's just like we all have to make decisions, right? Based on risk versus reward. Obviously, whatever decision he decided to make in that moment, he did not feel like there was a risk high enough not to do
about it.
So,
yes, he did.
I think he absolutely did. I feel like he absolutely did. Thank you.
I keep telling y'all every week.
I feel like he made a calculated choice. I feel like he made a calculated choice and he was correct. I feel like at the end of the day, like I said, he could get away with it, and he did it, and he was right, and he will get away with it, and it'll be fine.
I'm gonna just say this: being somebody who's been married for 18 years, being with the same guy for 20 something years, what happened it didn't surprise me, and I posted about that in another group. It was not shocking to me that this man had some type of impulse and there was a thought that drove the behavior for him to do what he did. It did not shock me. Seeing it on television.
That he didn't have a choice, but I don't think that he thought that out very well. And I also think that because he is Will Smith and he knows his status, that he knew there would be no consequences.
Yeah.
I still think he was emotionally
privilege driven, whatever it was. But it didn't, it shocked me to see it on television because me and my brother were joking and like, you know, we like called each other at the same time. And I was just like at the screen, like, oh my God. But I got a couple of things I want to say about it.
Me too.
Number one, it's so funny how these same men are just tearing Jada up on the internet. Well, it's not even funny. It's not surprising, but it's sad. You will rip this man apart for honoring his wife or whatever. We don't know what was going through Will's head when he did what he did. We don't even know if it was staged or not. We don't know. But they ripping this man apart and his wife because in the majority eyes or in some majority, he was honoring his wife or protecting her, whatever term you want to use. Not even a year ago, these are the same group of folks who cheered on a man or went behind, who supported a man who killed 2 women in his life on Facebook Live. That's my one problem with this. The second one is, like I said, been married. It's so funny how there's always this level of controversy when it comes to honoring or protecting or having a Black woman's back. It's just odd to me. Like, it's not odd, but it's just 2022. Enough is enough. That's the other thing that I have about this. The other thing as well is Will Smith is a celebrity, but he's also a human being. And if you pinch Will Smith, he gonna have a sensation like I would if you pinch me. This impulse that we have sometimes to do some of the not so thought out stuff we have, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Other people don't have control over it. But the only thing I want to say is this. People started talking about how Will Packard produced the Oscars and it's such a poor representation of our community. I'm so sick of people choosing to talk about Black community when it's convenient for them. When most of the people who actually have these sorts of ideas, they don't even care about us. They're gonna be right back a week from now talking about each other, cutting each other down, and talking about the last topic that we just spoke about. She too successful. She's not. They're gonna go back to talking about that. We need to stop having this one idea about how Black people are supposed to act in public. You know, I grew up with that ideology.
This service by we almost act like our oppressors.
Personal identity. That's what I'm saying, Ashley. Personal identity. We need to start teaching these children that other than your skin being brown, that you're your own person.
Right.
Like I'm not teaching my daughter that she represents all the Black women on the face of this earth. I'm not doing that. At 10 years old, and there's people who teaching this in their house. Kenny has a young daughter. I'm not gonna tell her that you're representing all the girls your age when she accomplishes something. No, let people have a moment.
Miss Jovo, it's an impossible. This is the thing that I keep trying to beat into people's head who keep saying that. It is an impossible goal.
It is.
The thing is that when you have a group that is determined to willfully misunderstand you, willfully misrepresent you, willfully
you just said my next thought.
That's gonna happen. They're gonna find anything to fit into that. So all of this, because they're gonna use it. They're gonna use anything. They're gonna use the toilet tissue roll that's on wrong.
They could have had the best Oscars ever without the slap, and there would have been some criticism. That's all I'm saying. Like
the Oscars wasn't even getting watched. Them people out there laughing all the way to the bank is my point.
It really wasn't. And a lot of people I know, they watched the Oscars only because of the films that were being nominated. I mean, I was a fan of Coda. I'm a fan of King Richard. That's the only reason why I watched. Prior years, like the last 3 or 4 years, I have not watched the Oscars because there was poor representation.
I only watched it because Beyonce was performing.
I watched Blue Eye.
And honestly, I didn't watch it.
I'm just saying,
I didn't watch.
It's layers, but it's really not layers. What I saw Sunday night was a human who had a reaction.
But
No.
Whether he was laughing
agree
first
that he
or
did not
not.
make a good choice? No,
I think
like,
he did.
Y'all really?
I mean, but I need to understand, what do you mean by a good
I
choice?
say it was a bad choice because he assaulted a man.
Maybe in our eyes. Maybe in our eyes, because
Hold on.
if
hold on.
I got on the stage.
Let me ask Ashley a question real quick. Okay, so you're saying that he made a bad choice. It depends on what the bad choice, like.
I just told you he assaulted.
This is
are you
the thing.
saying, do I feel like it was a bad choice because Chris Rock got hit? I don't feel any kind of way because Chris Rock got slapped. I don't feel.
It's not about how you feel, though. I'm asking you, was he wrong or right for going up to Chris Rock and punching him in his face?
But that's why I need an impact. Do you? I need to understand. I'm right or wrong. Like he was wrong because
he hit someone. He touched someone's body. So you're
saying, Ashley.
Yes.
This is the thing. I don't think a woman could properly say that, right? In this society where men use physical violence to handle their problems all the time. And it's okay, right? This is between two men, right? No.
And that doesn't mean it's right. We talk about, all talk about toxic masculinity.
Who apologized? Did Chris Rock apologize? Chris Rock apologized.
He should apologize.
Okay.
No, he hasn't released a statement yet.
He did not.
All that learning around social media is fake.
I'm pretty sure that Will has some thoughts about what he did. I'm pretty sure he does. Most of us do after we do search.
But do y'all think he would have did it if it was a white presenter?
I don't care. I don't care if the man was green purple. I mean, I don't care because they don't care. They not talking about this slap like we talking about it. I guarantee you they not. They not talking about it because they don't care.
And the
white Hollywood and white Hollywood has never cared about us. They have tolerated us. Okay, let's just.
So that's my problem. Then why don't we care that we have another black man who thinks it's okay to go and punch somebody in the face?
I want to.
This is the point that I'm making, right? Like I say, when we come from the same community that thinks it's okay to hit your children, to discipline them, right? What I'm saying is, and especially when it comes to this entertainment industry, and especially when it comes to, I don't understand the nature of the relationship between those two men. I don't know. And so what I'm saying is, when I look at harm, I cannot assess the harm to say, oh my God, that really harmed Chris Rock to the point that it was so wrong. I don't know. It wasn't that deep.
Yeah, man, come on now. Let's say I'm with you someplace, right? And you say something I don't like. I decide to punch you in your face. Like,
it depends on what I said. What if I said something about your something very sensitive to you? I mean, what if I said something? I've seen people punch people out who have called them the N-word that are of the opposite race.
Okay, so what about, let's say you tell me, my shirt is ugly.
It's just very
subjective. And I decide, because I don't like it, that I'm going to hit you. All I'm saying,
I don't know. I'm coming from a place. My great grandmother had to leave from the South. She literally had to pack up and leave in the middle of the night from the South and move to Chicago. The reason why we grew up in Chicago was because my great grandmother slapped a white lady across the face that called her the N-word. Great grandmother. So what I'm saying is, it ain't that deep to me. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry, darling. I'll let you go. Let me get the call. The caller wants to speak. Go ahead. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kim. I'm related to Cannon and Darwin. Cannon's my cousin. Darwin's my cousin-in-law. Hi.
Hey,
you guys are heated tonight. Okay, so I love your podcast. I love the podcast.
Thank you.
So I'm talking regarding Will and Chris Rock. My opinion is Jada tends to put Will in compromising positions. However, I don't think it was valid for Will to hit Chris. You know, I think it should have been handled a little different. I know he laughed at the joke, and my opinion is maybe Jada gave him that look like, why the hell are you laughing? It probably wasn't because she wanted, you know, she was looking for validation for her husband to go up there and protect her. She's probably looking at him like, what's so funny? Yep. So we really don't know what happened between him and her sitting in that chair. All we know is he laughed, she gave a look, and he went to defend his wife. So he, you know, I guess so he thinks.
Or his ego.
I think that it could have still been handled different.
I agree.
It was so minute. It was too minute to pretty much embarrass himself, because I think it was embarrassing.
I agree.
It's a lot of, he have 1,000 reasons to slap somebody regarding his wife, but this was the most minute reason. You know, to me, it just wasn't valid. He had a lot of reasons to do so, but not in this particular situation.
Yeah, I agree. My whole thing is, I understand about, you know, somebody says something you don't like, you want to hit them. We be hitting people every day, and somebody will be hitting us every day. If they hit us, they hit us because they didn't like what we said. So I thought it was childish. I thought that it was uncalled for. I thought that it was tasteless, and I thought that it showed a level of like a lack of self-control. It was emotionally, I won't even say self-control, because he did it intentionally. I think that he just, it was emotionally driven. It was definitely, you cannot say that was not emotionally driven.
We do stuff that's emotionally driven all the time.
We just gotta call it that.
Yeah, and that's fine. But because
hold on, Cannon. What you say, Kimberly?
But when he laughed, so at first he even found it funny. He reacted when his wife looked when she looked as if, you know, she had a problem with him laughing or with the joke. We don't really know what her problem was, you know, when she gave that look. But again, a celebrity or not, you know, it's not valid. It's not a valid situation to where you go and slap somebody.
Yeah, it's just not.
Okay.
I mean, so I guess
that's a valid situation. Let's get for getting slapped then.
The thing is, but the thing is that I feel like it's just still being misunderstood, right? Or what I'm saying is being misunderstood. The point that I'm making about validity versus non-validity, whatever, I'm thinking bigger picture. All day long, we sit on social media and we are entertained by people fighting, by people hitting each other for different stuff, or because all I'm saying is no, we do that all the time. And so for us to sit here and feign like this was just the heights of just the
everybody doesn't. Everybody.
What I'm saying is that he had a moment, right? Whatever that moment was, it could have been staged, it could have been whatever. These are entertainers. This is entertainment. Also, we don't know all the ins and outs and details and all that other stuff. Chris chose not to press charges, whatever. I'm looking at the results, is what I'm saying. He chose not to press charges. He choosing not to sue or do anything. Like, I don't know what the nature of their relationship and all of that stuff is. So for me, what I'm saying is that when I look at it, to be like, that was so wrong or so whatever, these are entertainers. I was thoroughly entertained. They did their job. Let me
say something, right?
Like, that's assuming that Chris Rock was a part of planning it, though.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have no clue.
Darwin, what were you gonna say?
First, I want to say, I just want to let y'all know how I am. Right? I'm the type of guy that if my cousin called, my female called and say something's going on, I'm there kicking ass. I'm not even gonna ask if she was wrong. Right? That's just the type of protection I'm going to give a woman. That's just how I get down. Right? So, and I also just want to throw out, everybody loved Jada when she was having sex on Set It Off for scholarship money. She was cool with it when she was being that type of woman. But now that she's liberated, they don't like all that. I just want to put that out there, right? And okay, so now we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about types of protection, because I heard earlier you saying something about it's not protection what happened because you know how it happened, but we have to take in consideration it's levels of protection. It's all kinds of protection. You can protect your wife physically, you can protect her mental, you can protect her emotionally, right? So I don't even think Will Smith was protecting Jada from Chris Rock or from social media or from people that's watching. I think Will Smith was protecting Jada from a place of all this has been going on. Do you still love me? Do you still cherish me? And I think in that moment, he had a decision to make. How can I show my wife that I have her back? Because like you said, he was laughing at first, but his mind probably was thinking about on the lines of the G.I. Jane joke and how silly it looked in her in the army outfit, right? Until he saw her, she didn't have to probably say, she probably didn't say, get up and go defend me. When he saw her, that took his mind to another place. Like, because if you know your wife, like I know my wife, if I see that she's disgruntled about something, it's going to instantly change my mentality about something. And I'm pretty sure it probably instantly changed his mentality. Like, you know what? My wife has alopecia, and that joke took her to that place. That joke took me to this place.
That makes it even worse.
I didn't even think it was just that either. We cannot forget that this is.
I'm talking about what I think. Hey, hold on.
I know, but I'm just saying that we have to also put into when he used her as the butt of the joke when she decided to boycott the Oscars that time, and he sat there cooning and buffooning in front of all of those people, making her the butt of the joke. Then, so what I'm saying is maybe it was something between them personally. I don't know. We don't know.
So let me finish. So let me finish. And then on another note, I've seen the most cornball dudes talk about what like Will, if it was Dwayne Johnson or Rock up there, he wouldn't have done nothing and all this other stuff. And when I know that they're speaking out of a place of projection, right? Because I know if I'm protecting my wife, I'm not looking about how big this guy is or who he is, how much money he got. And I think these guys that saying all of this stuff is coming because they know they wouldn't have did anything. So what I'm saying is that's protection. Protection might not look like that to you, but whatever a man needs to do for his wife in that moment, that's what he felt he needed to do. And if she felt protected, that's on her. I don't know, but I don't think anyone can say like, oh, he wasn't protecting me because he did this or he did that. Maybe that was the way he knew how to do it in that moment.
Okay, so you were saying how perhaps he did it because she because of how she was feeling and she wanted to feel like, oh, I got a man to protect me. To me, that makes it even worse.
But men do it all the time for their homeboys.
For 2 reasons.
Hold on, time out. Men ride or die for their homeboys. They go to bars. They fight with their homeboys because the niggas step on their shoes. They doing all types of crazy stuff. But when
they need to, not to say, oh, I'm going to act the fool just to prove to you that I'm protecting. You know that I'm.
But they prove it to the guys. They prove it to their homeboys. Why I can't prove it to my wife?
Well, that's weak too. I don't get it.
The person that you cherish, that you live in your life together, that's helping you build, that you're growing together, that will do anything for you. You're not going to prove something to them for them. I don't.
Wait, hold on, Kimberly. Hold on, you guys. Hold on, Kimberly, go ahead.
Okay, so I do want to say that Jada Will love her. Just all that she has done, that man loved her. You know, so he didn't have to create a and he didn't have to pretty much embarrass himself to prove to her that he loved her, because she knows that. Second, Jada is not embarrassed about having the hair loss problem because she put it out there. She put it out there that she had alopecia. So I don't see her being embarrassed about that either. Third, Darwin, I want to go back to what you said. I commend you for being a man to protect your family. You say no questions asked, but I also want to say that people can be manipulative. I think that you should ask questions because sometimes you can be put in a position that puts you in harm's way. So you should ask questions, before you go out swinging, because the last thing I would hate is for something to happen to you about something as minute as somebody having hair loss. And then not even that, but just something smart.
Cause I got a question.
It's just a misunderstanding.
Cause did you
I would hate for something bad to happen, you know, because you got to remember you dealing with a whole bunch of young guys out here with nothing to lose.
Cause I got a question. Did you see the video of Will Smith afterwards with his Grammy dancing to Get Jiggy With It?
Getting jiggy with it.
Did you see it?
I didn't watch the Oscars.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'm talking about the after party.
And I did see that video. See the video.
He not embarrassed. It was hilarious. It was entertaining. I don't think it's as deep as we try to make it into being. And I think
you hate people to entertain people? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
People get slapped every day, B.
But that doesn't mean that it's okay. Like,
for lesser reasons.
Let me just say this.
Doesn't mean it's okay.
Because y'all keep saying it's a minute. It's not minute.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think people are saying what he did was okay. I think people are saying they're not invested in what he did, and that people are over this whole.
But we're having a conversation about.
Wait, but hold on. Let me finish. I say this every week on the show. Y'all saw my post-it note. I live by this. Manage your expectations. These celebrities, they owe us nothing. They don't owe us self-control 100% of the time. They do not owe us perfect anger management, effective communication, just like some of us don't owe each other that 100% of the time. We just need to manage our expectations. But when I'm saying that, Ashley, I'm not saying that what he did was right.
I'm asking. I'm
not saying that
about whether that was a good.
But the level that people are taking it to in terms of, well, he was wrong for doing that. And, you know, the Oscars were produced by Black people and it's bad representation for us. People do not be walking around making all day life decisions based on the fact that it's going to be bad representation for the Black community. You know, if you get to walk around, well, I'm just saying, if you get to, I know I don't. I told y'all, I just turned 40. I don't really. I'm at a point in my life. I don't really care if somebody disagree with the decision that I made, because it's a decision I got to live with, not you. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The other thing too, people keep wanting to bring up this whole quote unquote marital affair or whatever, and I just want to tell some folks out there. Obviously, married people ride for their spouse, because Will riding for his wife. Will and Jada still living together. They still hanging out. They still attending events together. And it's so funny because, and I think we talked a little bit about this on the show. I think it was last week we talked about, you know, what is marriage? For me, what I saw was marriage. It doesn't matter what happens in people's marriage. I put up a post today about offense sells tickets, defense wins games. They are in defense mode right now. And obviously they win in the game because they still together. Like, people always hollering about Black marriage and Black family, and we got to keep Black people together, whatever. We ain't got to keep Will and Jada together. They together. This what married people do. They ride what we might think is a deal breaker in a relationship. The other couples might be, we gonna work through this, babe. We gonna go to therapy. We gonna get to the table and talk about it. We gonna do whatever it takes. And that's why I'm at the point in my life where if a couple works it out and ain't nobody life at harm, risk, or danger, I'm like this. Y'all did it. Let's go. Let's go.
Miss Jovo, do you think Will should have checked Chris Rock? However that may look to you, do you think he should have been checked? Just yes or no?
Do I think he should have been checked? Or the way he was checked?
No, I don't care about the way. Dude, check.
Not the way he was checked, but if it was offensive to his wife, and only Will and Jada know how offensive it was. Yeah, if it was offensive.
Let me put it this way.
Hold on, I'm just saying.
Okay, no, I heard
he should have been checked, babe.
I mean, I don't believe any of it.
Do you think he should have been checked?
Let me.
I had somebody ask me, do I think my husband would have did the same thing? I don't think he would have did it that way.
No, hold on. I wanted to answer Ashley's question because I wanted to kind of explain what I'm saying when she says, was it the right choice or the wrong choice?
Ashley,
right?
You think he should have been checked?
Wait, who have been checked? Chris
Rock.
I believe so. I think.
Okay, so we all agree he should have been checked. Now, how that checking may differ from everybody. So, Ashley, you think he should have just had a little talking to, right? Daryl, what you think should have happened? He probably should have been talked to, right? Backstage, maybe. Like, hey, you don't say that about my wife, this and that, right? Miss Jovo, I know you ain't going. You need to go to counseling, bro, right? I think he should have got slapped. So everybody think he should have got checked in a different way. So who are we to say Will did it the wrong way?
Well, the right or wrong way is based on values, morals, and beliefs that Will Smith has about how people address his wife. And obviously Will, in that moment, had a moment where something went against his principles. Obviously, he values his wife, even when the public don't, but he does as a husband. And shout out to married people, because people who marry, no matter what you're going through in your marriage, you value and you honor your spouse no matter what, especially those of us who've been in the game for a long time. That's what we do. We gonna ride. I can be mad at my husband and I'm still gonna go in there and cook and fix that joke plate, because that's what I do. Okay, and I ain't got to explain that to nobody. That's one, because I value my marriage.
What you say about my wife?
The right or wrong is based on the values and the principles that people have about the situations that they find themselves in.
And yes, and let me piggyback off that too. So
yeah, that's my answer to the right or wrong.
I can't wait to go out on date night again, babe. I'm slapping me a motherfucker.
I was going
to Shannon, I want to hear your question. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and read some comments in the chat. Nina says,
next date night, I'm slapping me a motherfucker, babe. I'm telling you. They look at you wrong.
Nina says grown men do not go around slapping each other all willy-nilly. Yolanda says violence against the innocent is never okay. Nina has a question for Darwin. We can ask you this in a second. It says, if you had to pay out your whole life savings to slap someone for saying G.I. Jane, will you figure out a different way?
Okay.
That G.I. Jane, that no.
They whole savings. Come on, man.
That G.I. Jane, but if someone disrespected my wife and it hurt her feelings and it was a man, I'm slapping his ass.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You asked the question, you said, was it right or wrong, right? And I guess my thought process is what I'm saying is, as far as us living in a capitalistic society, them being entertainers, it depends on what the goal is what I'm saying to say right or wrong, right? What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, look at how long we've been, this has been getting more attention than the freaking Ukraine. This has been getting more attention. No, I'm saying we cannot deny that at the end of the day, their biggest the biggest motivator for all this stuff is that green. You see, that green. So what I'm saying is, if he had not done that, would we have been discussing these Oscars all this time as we do ad nauseum? So wait a minute. Let me finish. Who benefits from that? From us doing that. So what I'm saying is to say, was that the right choice? That's just like if somebody decides to do porn to become a millionaire, right? If their goal is to be a millionaire, then how can I say that that's wrong, right? So if their goal is to be a moral nun, then I would say that's wrong. You see what I'm saying? So it depends on what the goal.
You disappoint me. I don't even want to slap a motherfucker now. Yeah. You need listen here. Listen. Political stuff. We slapping motherfuckers.
Kimberly, did you want to add something before you go?
No. You all keep up the good work. I enjoy the show. I try to watch it faithfully on Tuesday.
Good night.
Hey, cuz, if someone messing with you, cuz, call me and I'll come and slap their ass.
Lord, stop. I can't. Darwin, we're not slapping people. We're not doing that.
That ain't what I'm doing this year. I'm slapping me someone this year.
I'll put you in that position.
I like that, Kimberly. Thank
you. We're going 2-0 this year.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know you need to slap somebody next? Russell Wilson need to slap a motherfucker next, right? Russell Wilson. Who else? Will got his slap on. We got. I'm dead ass serious.
Okay, Ken, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So let's say this was. I'm not even gonna waste my time coming up with a scenario because it really doesn't matter. There could be a million scenarios, right? But let's say that Chris Rock was a black woman.
Ooh, Dwayne Wade need to slap a motherfucker too. He need to slap a motherfucker too.
Would you have been okay with him slapping this woman?
I didn't say I was okay with him slapping Chris Rock.
But would you think that, oh, it's just entertainment?
I'm sorry.
If that's what it was, then yeah.
Okay, so
nobody pressed charges. If it was done on national freaking TV, no, international TV, not just national TV, but international TV to drum up attention or whatever for this.
Listen, so but
maybe it made Telemundo.
But let's say that Chris Rock did not plan that. You said it didn't matter. To me, if he didn't plan that and Will or the Oscars or whomever, Jada, whoever, did that for the purpose of entertainment, I think it's disrespectful.
Why didn't he press charges then?
He probably didn't press charges because he wanted to avoid people considering him soft. Maybe he wanted to give. Maybe he wanted to give Will. Maybe
he can't press charges at this point.
Maybe he wanted to give Will a chance to apologize. Maybe he has some grace.
So how I'm gonna be more mad than his?
But it doesn't matter. That's just like saying, well, why don't women who get rape press charges? Is the
no, that's not just like saying that. What I'm saying is I'm not going to be more mad than Chris Rock is. He literally got slapped on national TV.
It's not about being mad. I'm just making a statement about violence and whether or not that's when to use it and when to not. And
all I'm saying is I understand Hollywood and all publicity is good publicity, and Chris Rock's name is in everybody's mouth, and along with Will Smith. That's the lens that I'm looking at it through, is what I'm saying. The lens of these people being entertainers and this being their bread and butter and this being what lines their pockets is all that I'm saying.
To me, it's an issue of managing expectations, especially when we try to, turn this into, like one of my friends on Facebook earlier, and low key was trying to say that these are supposed to be role models or that we see them every day, and they're not role models. And no, we don't see them every day. These are entertainers. Like, I just wish people would just manage. If people would just interpret things based on realistic expectations, a lot of these conversations will be shut down quickly. That's all I'm saying. No, Ashley, grown men should not be on television slapping around each other. But if I had to do a show with y'all about all the things people of all colors should not be doing on television, that would be the longest damn show ever. Okay? It's so many layers to just entertainment and how we manage our expectations for entertainers.
It's not about just doing it on TV.
I think what happened was people held Will Smith to this certain esteem, and I do believe that's what happened. People held Will Smith to
niggas get slapped every day,
and then it was like, well, dang, Will just like me. Yeah, Will is just like you. When Will cry, real tears come out his eyes. When Will is upset because somebody might have offended his wife or whatever, Will gonna do something just like you would do something if somebody offended something that was offensive to you. It's just how we conceptualize entertainment and how we think about these celebrities at the end of the day. And see, people just need to be honest about that. That they just need to be honest.
I'm
because
honest.
when they started ripping Jada apart, even back then when that whole affair thing started, my whole argument was, y'all mad at somebody's wife. Meanwhile, this man still sleeping beside his wife every night. What are you talking about? This is what married people do. Married people ride for each other. That's what they do.
Real talk, Nina. You can ask my wife. I done called her and said, babe, get the bail money ready because I'm about to slap me a motherfucker. So yes.
You didn't call me to say that. You actually did punch somebody. I wasn't there. You didn't let me know before you did that.
Yeah. That's whatever.
My husband got in a situation like that at his job with the guy that basically decides whether or not he gets to work there or not.
And
I got a phone call from one of his coworkers, and this is exactly what the coworker said. He said, "Hey, Javonda, can you come up here and can you bring?" At the time, my daughter was an infant, and can you bring the baby? Now, I know my husband. When my husband mad, like when he's angry, and it's not often when he is, but when he gets there, you're not gonna be able to tell him nothing. I didn't even exchange words. I hung up the phone, packed the child up, and went to the job because I knew what it was gonna be.
There we go.
People have different values and principles that they live by. This whole, oh well, he's this, so he shouldn't be doing that, or he's this and he shouldn't be doing that. People know what's right or wrong for them based on what they value in their own life.
He said it.
All
he said it.
All
He
we
said
have
it.
is a choice.
Say, oh,
You
it's
don't
great
slap
for me
people on TV.
to violate somebody's body.
He
That's
should have.
all.
But actually, this is the thing. The same people who arguing that, they already know that the majority of us know better than that. What we need to be understanding and learning is why we.
It don't sound like it. It doesn't.
Hey, what we need to be teaching people is stop idolizing and stop turning folks into role models that are not role models. That's what we really need to be having a conversation about. That's it. Will Smith is not a role model. Will Smith has never been a role model. Tupac Shakur, not a role model. Notorious B.I.G. Notorious B.I.G. not a role model.
No, I'm just saying, or making things acceptable for certain people that they align with or that they think they align with. Like, for example, if you think Jay-Z would have done that for Beyonce, people would have responded totally different. Just like the caller, she just called. I noticed words like manipulate. Like, everything is being placed on Jada and her being able to maneuver and not just how this man is protecting his wife.
And it really don't matter because he gonna ride for his wife, because that's what married people do.
And that's the only thing that bothers me about it. It's like you say you're riding for marriage, but when somebody is actually riding for their marriage, it's looked down upon. It's he's talked about like he's a simp or he's letting her control him, or I thought we were riding for. I thought we were trying to.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This is crazy to me because you can ride for your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not give you the right to violate someone else. That's all.
I never said that it gave them the right to violate.
That's what we're talking. And it has nothing to do with Will Smith being a celebrity. It's just
it does though, but it's okay.
I'm not okay with him violent. I'm not okay with what he did per se. Am I okay with the action? Like I said, possibly. But am I okay with him doing what he felt he needed to do for his wife? Absolutely. And I don't know if maybe it's just a marital thing or something that you understand once you get to a certain. I've been married. I've been with my husband 15 years. It's just certain things that are understood at that point where, especially if you decide to be together after you've been through. I couldn't even imagine going through half of the stuff they're going through in a public light the way they do. And him as a man, he has the need to protect his image, protect his brand, and protect his wife. So you have so many things, so many layers wrapped into something. I get what you're saying, Ashley, and I'm not discounting what you're saying or how you're putting it. It wasn't right per se, but it was right. You get what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain. There's nuance in everything. There's nuance in everything. No, he shouldn't have probably slept that man like that, but he should have slept that man like that.
Wait. I got a scenario. This is perfect.
We got a scenario.
Probably not even 3 years ago. Me, my super friends, shout out to the super friends, you know who you are. We in a nightclub. Majority of us are married. It was my friend's birthday. She had on this jumpsuit, and it had beads, and it was, but it was sexy in the places that it needed to be. She was feeling herself. She on the dance floor, we chilling, we dancing, hey, husbands up, we had VIP, whatever. Husbands, they chilling, drinking. But and Darwin can relate to this. Y'all out as a group and you chilling, but then your wife on the dance floor, right? And you got that peripheral vision. Y'all watching out for us. It ain't even about being jealous. And Dara, you know what I'm saying? It ain't about, because y'all know what kind of stuff go on in a nightclub. Dude got out of pocket with my friend, okay? was, all over my friend, and then groped her so inappropriate. In all of our minds, Ashley, it did not come down to, oh my God, he shouldn't have hit him. There was a better way to resolve this. In all of our minds, guess what happened?
Situation, though.
It was, let me go on and get Mosley because it's about to be a problem and don't nobody need to go to jail
That's
tonight.
what Nina just said. She said,
I'm just saying, that's what Darren said. It's just certain situations.
Hold on. Nina just said he should have checked him verbally in an acceptance speech. My thing is, how you go tell somebody how to retaliate to somebody like that? It don't work that way. This is reality. You can't do something to somebody and then be like, this is how you need to check me. That ain't how that work. No, I'm gonna check you how I want to check you.
Well, I just hope that people who are not Will Smith understand that when they have that mentality, that they will invite themselves into a whole lot of bad situations.
And the second question is, she said apples to apples. Me paying $1 million is not apples to apples with Chris Rock paying $1 million. One of my work paychecks is apples to apples with Chris Rock paying $1 million, because $1 million is not all of Chris Rock's money. I mean, Will Smith's money. If it was a lawsuit, I don't even have $1 million. But if I had to give up a work check, 1 week or a month of work checks to feel like I need to protect my wife and slap somebody, yes, I will. Money gone. Bye. Next, I regroup. Yes, I'm giving up that dough. I spent a couple of days in jail too, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm going all out, and maybe that's
all I have to say is, has anybody ever seen Hunger Games?
Yep.
We live in the Hunger Games.
We do, man. You gotta come on and say it.
What I'm saying is we're watching, like, the world is collapsing around us, and we're like watching these like, people are literally fighting for their lives and literally dying, and we watching people in like nice dresses, and we like listening to these fake love stories, and like, that's all I'm saying is that.
Meanwhile, if y'all don't win this race, y'all gonna die.
That's why I'm saying the only real world way that I feel about it is the way that Jada is being perceived and talked about, because that's how women get perceived and talked about in real life. The actual slap and the actual all of that, I don't have no like real commentary to be like, I don't think most people who walk around and live like that, like you say, yeah, people know their reality. Nobody thinks that they're Will Smith. I mean, and if they do, then they got bigger problems.
It sounds like they do, though. It sounds like it.
No.
I read a lot.
What I'm saying is like, remember in Hunger Games, they got like the Capitol, right? These people are literally dying, but people are sitting there watching and like listening, watching the fake stuff and all that. Like, that's what I feel like kind of we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, oh, and he assaulted him. And I'm like, I just don't know all of that. I'm just like, these people, they're fine. Like, we're the ones, you know what I'm saying?
The punishment needs to fit the crime.
Dealing with domestic violence at the highest rates and like all of this stuff. Like, they do. Like,
but that's, Cannon, I get what you're saying. There are a gazillion things that we could be talking about, right? We talk about all types of stuff on this show, but
no, I don't have a problem talking about it. I'm talking about the as far as me using the actual slap and all that, what actually happened, as an example of something is what I'm saying, because I don't even think that that's like realistic. You know, real like to even be like, and this is indicative of you see what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we can't talk. Of course, we're gonna talk about it because this is what everybody is talking about. But I'm saying as far as like breaking it down to be like, and he assaulted him on TV and he was protecting his wife. And I don't know what these people was doing. They was playing. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's
what you gonna do for me if I slap somebody for you?
Let me just say this. I tell people this all the time.
Tiffany Haddish said Jada Pinkett need to go home and
oh my God.
That's what she said.
Just like in the line of work that I do. I'm a therapist. I teach cognitive behavioral skills like every day, 5 days a week. I do. But let me tell you something. Just like you got triggers, I got triggers. And when I'm upset and a trigger triggers me and I react in a certain way, you can come back and say, oh my God, Ms. Jovo, you're a therapist and you should have used some thinking skills. And I'm going to look at you and say, you know what? I probably should have, but I didn't. Bye. That's it. That's all of it. It is exhausting. And Black people should be exhausted for being expected to be held up to all these certain standards just because we don't need to look bad in front of the white society.
Oh, I
or
hate
we
that.
don't need to look bad at the Oscars or the
Fuck them.
Grammys or whatever. All these entities that really, honestly, they were not built for us and they don't care about us. Let's just be honest about it. I mean, really. And I get the whole, moral code and, how you see yourself in the morning. But in that moment, Will had a human moment. That's it. That's all of it.
If that's what happened.
Right. And that part too.
These people are actors. Then he literally just won an Oscar for acting like somebody else.
I don't even talk about it like I don't even talk about it as like celebrities. I relate this to like real life and like what's going on in the world, and like the guys that I know that's talking about Will like and they've done the worst shit, like, and they just want to the punishment should fit. Like, what do you mean? Ain't nobody in the hood going to jail for slapping somebody. Like, that's not happening. Like, you barely on there, not for fights. Like ain't no one advocating in the hood. Like, you know what? Dude over there, this 30-year-old over there is talking this 13-year-old. Ain't no one on his ass trying to get him to get locked up. So why we all on Will Smith? Because he slapped Chris Rock.
Like, people do this every day. Just like when they talk about LeBron James' wife. Oh, she's the perfect mom and she's not spending all this money. Look how she dressed to go to basketball games. All the while, Savannah James probably got her cell phone out. If she reads any of this nonsense, I doubt she does. And she probably laughing her head off because more than likely, she just being who she is. Why can't Black people just be who they are?
If I know LeBron James, he's reading this because LeBron James is very in tune with what be going on. And I know he talked to his wife, so she know too. That's my guy. I just talked to him on the phone the other day.
All right, you all. So we've been talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, and we like to hear from you all right, so chime in on this topic. You can call in at 574-943-5971.
We want to know, baby.
And if you want, you can also join our live stream. I've updated our live stream, so you can go ahead and join us tonight if you want to.
Wayne Wade and Russell Wilson is next. Watch what I tell you. They go slap somebody too. And we ain't playing. We're not playing with these clowns this year.
I was very entertained. That was the highlight of my night when I saw that.
Highlight of my week.
I saw people commenting because I was watching something else and people was like, "What about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock?" I'm like, "What they talking about?" Then I watched that. I was like, "What is this? This is crazy." Whoa.
And I digress because when after that, and then he won that award when they called his name,
they gave him a standing ovation. I don't have time for these people. I don't have time for these people.
Dara, I do agree with you. I do feel
like, come on now, Ashley. What I'm saying is really think about it. Like, this man, like you said, assaulted someone on national. I mean, internet. Not even. I keep saying national. This was broadcast internationally live on live television. We know for a fact that even though I said Chris Rock about declining to press charges and all of this, the district attorney and all that, they can pick up charges without somebody deciding to press charges. That's what happened with Meg Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion didn't even go to press charges. They picked it up on their own. So if they got this freaking proof and they got it sitting right there on live TV.
I mean, they love it. They love it. I get what
what I'm saying is why hasn't the DA just picked it up? They have proof that a crime occurred.
They don't have the reason to. Chris Rock.
I feel sorry for Chris Rock.
No. What I'm saying is that they don't need Chris Rock to press charges. They can just pick it up
because they don't need. There's no reason for them to. They don't have to.
But he committed a crime, like everybody keeps saying.
He committed a crime on international TV.
The DEA has a gazillion crimes to focus on. Okay,
that's why I don't believe.
That's why they say the same thing about Black women rapes.
I don't. The thing is that's why I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Celebrities in their own lane when it comes to everything.
And the other thing is, think about how he tied that so perfectly into his role as King Richard. Oh, he was a fierce defender of his family. Oh my God! Like, come on now.
That's what I'm saying, though.
You saying it was staged, babe?
Yes.
Listen, I think
so. You changed up. It was staged now.
Yes.
I don't think Chris Rock. I don't think he had anything to do with it. He did, great actor, right? They're great actors, obviously, right? But in the event that Chris Rock did not know about it, and Will intentionally did this for whatever reason, I just cannot respect it because he just hit another man because of some
you Martin Luther King, man.
I'm just saying I can't respect it.
I roll with Malcolm X. All that.
I love Malcolm X.
But the thing
I love a man that will
for it to be staged, Chris would have had to fit in on it because he would have had to chose to tell that joke. Jada would have had to chose to make that fake. Like all of it would have had to be into all.
I don't think it was staged.
Look, you hear what you just said though? This is what I really want to talk about. You said if it's necessary, like why can't it be necessary in defense of a woman to slap a man? Like
listen, here's why. A man should defend his wife physically in certain situations. Okay, I wouldn't be with a man unless he is ready to defend me physically in certain situations, right? Just because my feelings hurt or because somebody said something I didn't like does not warrant this man to go and hit everybody. I don't want that personally for myself because, and I'm not Will and Jada. In my life, that might incur a certain level of problems, whether it be with the law or whether it be by like being killed.
So okay, a scenario. If you at the bar, if you at a club with your guy, and a guy walks up to you and say, "Yeah, what's up, shorty? Let me get your number." And this, that you say, "No, I'm with somebody." He be like, "Man, fuck him and fuck you. You stinking woo woo." And your guy hears this. He's just sitting there hearing it, and dude cuss you out.
That's not the same thing.
No. This is no. You're being disrespected.
I don't necessarily want him to fight. I want him to get to the point where, because some men can't come back.
When you pick guys, that's cool. But when you pick guys like that, that's a guy like that in all situations, right?
What do you mean?
When you pick a guy like that won't.
Yeah, man.
When you pick a guy like that, if he sees that happening to you, of that disrespect,
no, I want him to do what he has to do to defend me. Yeah, but I'm saying every situation, like I'm just saying, like let's say I'm having a conversation with somebody, and my man is not even around, right? And let's say anything happened. Let's say a guy, I don't know, anything happened. He just says a rude remark.
So you come home and be like, you come home and be like, I was at work today, and my coworker, he had his phone out, videotaping my butt when I bent over, right?
That is completely different. I'm saying in certain situations.
I'm talking about feelings. You've been disrespected by a man.
Okay, let's say a man told me my makeup looks horrible today. I don't want my husband to be fighting.
No, we're not talking about that.
That ain't what Chris, but that ain't what Chris told Jada. Let's just be honest now.
We can go different ways, but we talking about what hurts your feelings. If a man hurts your feelings, it doesn't matter what
I don't want my husband to fight everybody. No, I don't.
No, I ain't saying everybody.
No. About every situation. No.
All right, I'm just saying the type of man you pick is gonna be that type of man in all the situations, right? So just remember,
there are men who will be protectors, and they don't have to go ready to pull out a gun every time.
Let me just say this. I can't tell Mr. Mosley how he gonna protect me. I can't. I learned this early on in marriage. I can't tell him that.
You're his wife. But if you were dating before you got married, you made an assessment. Is this the man that I want to be married to?
What I'm saying to you is that I can't tell him, just like I say all the time, people evolve, marriages evolve. I cannot tell my husband I can't tell him, oh, I want you to protect me here, but I don't want you to protect me there. Because protection, that level of protection, and Darwin, you might be able to identify with this, comes with a sensation, whether it's a thought sensation or a physical sensation that you get when it's like, even Kenny could be talking to somebody in public and the dude raise his voice, and it's not even something disrespectful per se or a four-letter word, but he's raising his voice talking to Kenny, you know that instinctively inside of you, something gonna spark, and you're gonna be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
And you
right?
want to know why you check it the right way? Because if you don't check it the right way, it's gonna keep happening. And when that man sees that he's talking to your woman crazy and you ain't done nothing, it's gonna escalate. Now he feel even more like
my
my
point is I can't tell my husband how I want to be protected, because that level of protection comes with emotional and thinking triggers that I have no control over. Only he can control that. Now, am I going to purposely get myself in situations where he got to get out of pocket? Absolutely not. I remember working with somebody, and I messed around and told my husband that this man yelled at me in my office. Now, you know, his spidey sense, and my husband got this look on his face that he get. When I say this man yelled at me, it turned into, oh, well, who yelled at you? You know? And it's like I had to explain the context, because he hears stuff like he yelled at me, or he touched me, or he touched our child, or this happened. It's just certain things when you get to know somebody.
Jovo, if somebody on the street tells you that you're not looking good, whatever, do any situation, okay? I'm not talking about certain, I keep saying some situations warrant physical aggression. I get that. But do you want your husband to punch everybody that offends you?
No, I don't. But if he chooses
to punch somebody for you,
this is what I'm saying. Actually, this is what I'm saying. But if he decides to punch someone, I can try to hold him back. I can try to tell him, babe, that's not a good choice. At the end of the day, if he decides he's gonna punch this person, he's gonna do it.
Of course.
Because it's a choice. Yeah. Jada ain't had nothing to do with Will punching. He conceptualized, if that's and I'm like Cannon now, if that was really the case. Yeah. His thinking process and his emotions provoke him to do what he did. That's just it. That's just all of it. But I can't control that within my husband. I don't think nobody. I mean, if y'all understand where I'm coming from, I cannot tell this man how I want to be protected when it comes time for protection. He gonna see something that thinks, okay, this warrants protection, and he gonna go for it.
What do men always preach? A man is supposed to provide and protect, right? So I don't think a lot of men even know how to protect. And so if a lot of men don't know how to protect, a lot of women don't even know how to be protected or know when they're supposed to be protected. So what I'm saying is, I understand, like, and I'm not trying to say like you don't know how to be protected because you're not married or anything, and you probably haven't been in those situations where a man is like sacrificing what you would think is like
I have been in situations where men have protected me and I loved it. I have been in quite a few of them.
They was fight. They stopped them. They punched somebody.
No, not where somebody had to be punched. From what I can recall, no. But that's what I'm saying. You don't always. I don't want a man that's fighting everywhere. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to.
Now we ain't saying everywhere, Ashley. But if he chooses to fight,
yeah, I'm not fighting everywhere.
But if he chooses to fight, I can't do nothing about that. If he chooses to fight, I know my husband. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's husband different. And when Mosley going for your throat, when he going for your throat, he gonna move me out the way to get to your throat because he ain't gonna be disrespected.
Okay, I didn't say you should control it.
Now I've evolved. Now I don't fight all the time. It's been plenty of times I've been out and I just been like,
okay, that's man.
I'd be like, man, if this was about 4-5 years ago, you know, and I just be like, and it's little stuff too. Like I see a dude like hollering at my wife, and I just be like, you know, I know he saw us walk in here together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's more. I feel like he disrespected me, but at the same time, if I know a situation, my wife told the guy that she's with me. He actually came to the table, like came to the table where we at. Like, dude, what did you just not hear what's going on? Like, and I didn't even do nothing in. And I felt like, you know what? And it could have escalated. Luckily, he wasn't ignorant and kept on, you know, because that's how things escalated. When a guy feels like he can disrespect a woman and say things to a woman, and he know that the man that she's with isn't going to do anything, it's going to keep going. And so my thing is, I'm going to sock a nigga up real fast, and that's going to be that.
And I just want to say this too. It's cultural and it's generational. I mean, I just, I'm a country girl, and I come from a family where, when the dude's eyebrows start frowning up, another dude getting loud or disrespectful towards one of us, we ain't so much worried about what the other dude doing. We worried about what our dude's about to do, because it ain't gonna be no talking. And I ain't saying that is right, because it's not, but Darwin, you can speak to this. It's just how certain men were raised in certain situations.
And the thing is this: maybe Will Smith wouldn't have smacked somebody else, but Chris Rock was smackable. He was smackable. Maybe he would have talked to somebody. Everybody ain't smackable. So everybody keep talking about if it was somebody else. Okay,
y'all put that in the chat. Smackable. Put that in the chat. That's the word of the week. Smackable.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you handle different situations. You handle people differently, right? Everybody has, and that's just me, right?
So you protect your wife as long as the person's not smackable.
Hey, what you saying?
It's what you're saying.
What happened?
All the protect your wife stuff goes out the window if it's somebody that you can't take on.
No, me, I probably would have slapped Chris Rock, and I probably would have elbowed Dwayne Johnson, because I know he's a bigger guy, so I would have probably gave him an elbow.
I'm glad you said it like that, Ashley, because there's also another group of people out there, and I ain't gonna keep talking about this, but I got several opinions about this. People bringing up Jada. Let me tell you something. It's a group of men out there who feel like when somebody does something wrong, supposedly wrong in a marriage, that spouse no longer needs protecting. Let me tell you something. I can be mad at Mosley today, and then if I hear somebody, like, my biggest trigger is, what you're not gonna do is talk down on my husband. You ain't gonna do that, not in front of me. That's why I tell other wives,
what did Jada do wrong? What did Jada do wrong?
A whole bunch of people keep making
right.
Up.
She didn't do nothing wrong. What she did was she exercised her options. She exercised her options within the marital setup that they had, supposedly.
Because they
and I don't know all the details, nor do I care to know all the details, because we already had that show.
Have y'all seen the women online that's saying that Jada should have put her arm on him? Stop it.
I saw
him down.
Sick. That's what I'm saying. I'm so sick of
talking about where was Will's protection at in that moment.
That's what I mean. It's like we on the front lines
of
freaking protests, protecting from police. We supposed to protect them from their own decisions. We supposed to protect them from their sexual decisions. What? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm like,
them be the men who really don't want to fight anyways. They act like they woman is holding them back.
No, but that's what I'm saying. These are women saying that.
Let me get her, babe. Let me get her. She went right here. Nigga, you ain't about to do nothing.
I think it was originally a man who shared it or something, and then people just kept I don't know who shared it first, but it was men and women sharing it. But the thing is that this is my whole point about the conversation, right? Like I say, whether it was real, whatever, fake. What I do know is real that I see all the time is that, like I say, people keep creating all of these narratives based on shit that did not happen. So it's just like, I even seen some people making comments, and just like you were saying earlier about the manipulative thing and all of this other stuff, is that you actually look at the information that's available, because I do hear a lot of people say, it's two ways that I feel about this. It's like, I do hear a lot of people say, when you put your relationship out there, then you're doing, which I do agree, right? I do agree. But especially as celebrities, like, that's what's going to happen, right? But I also think that people can't even appreciate the fact that these people, and especially Jada specifically, are transparent enough to try to be honest, to try to say, these are some challenges, try to say, this is real life. Maybe I can help somebody else. That's actually what I see happening behind the conversations that she tries to have a lot of times. And then people take and twist everything that she says, and they say that she said stuff that she did not even say. And now people mad about it. People are still repeating it. I've even seen in the chat people like, because she doing this and she be disrespecting him, and she when
you know what? People cannot.
Y'all too busy reading headlines, and the thing is that this is why I say I always talk about reality, right? And my opinion is based on reality. The reality is that, look at any study, it will tell you that most people only read headlines. They don't even read the articles. So a lot of these headlines that I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, she'll say, I like peanut butter sandwiches, and they'll be like, Jada smacking people with peanut butter sandwiches. Like, that's what the headline will say. It'll just be like, and then you go read the article and they be like, she didn't even say that. But
another thing,
the headline, and they take it and run with it. And so when you look at a lot of these conversations, people are talking about a whole bunch of shit that never even happened. Like I say, not only is it that I think that the Oscar stuff was entertainment, but people even having all these discussions wholeheartedly about stuff that she didn't even say, and got all these feelings about stuff that didn't even happen, according with no evidence that it happened. So I'm just like, I don't even know what we're discussing at this point. Like, I'm so far down the rabbit hole with these people. I'm just over it. I'm over the whole Jada. I'm over it. Like, what is reality?
People talking like she opened her phone up and went on Facebook Live and ranted about her husband and confessed to the world about cheating. That's how people talking, right? When she actually has a show that she has to prepare for to talk about these topics, and I'm pretty sure she probably discussed it with her husband. Like, I'm gonna open up about the August thing, but they act like, oh, she threw him under the bus. How?
Do you really think with their brand?
In an interview, he said, that's what I'm saying. We're not even listening to the stuff the man said out his own mouth. He says there is nothing that happens in our marriage that we do not discuss with one another. We have never blindsided one another with anything. We talk about everything. That's what the man said.
No, they did. They heard him, but what they heard was, oh, Jada wears the pants because she get the fuck August, and you knew about it, and you still want her? What? Oh, you a simp. You a client. Like, that's what they heard. You know what I'm saying? That's what they hear.
It's the same concept when you have a married couple.
So Dara was gonna ask something. What were you gonna say?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dara.
I mean, my issue is more so just it's all around Jada. I don't have too many. Like you said, we all have a clear understanding about the Chris Rock situation, but with their marriage, I really wish people would really honor what they're saying about marriage and respecting these. I mean, literally, it's like they're trying to force them to break up just so that the public feels better about decisions that these two people are making for their family, for their brand. I talked to a woman, and then people literally look at things, and you just have to remember that people see things, and they will see 5, 6, 7. I mean, a spectrum of things. No one sees it. We can all be looking at the same exact event, the same exact story, and we'll all have a different perspective on things. I'm speaking to a girl yesterday about this, and I'm trying to. I mean, I know it's different. We live different lives, but I'm just like, yo, why are you going so hard on Jada? She's like, Black women are protected. I'm like, Black women are protected. This is her mentality. Black women are protected. She's always doing this to Will. This and this, like, and I hear this, and it just throws me because it's not just men. It's not. It's everybody. I mean, I don't want to say everybody. It's just everybody has their own level of perspective, and it just throws me when I hear people saying things like that's not rooted in reality from what these people are saying. Will has said Jada has never committed adultery on me. That means they have a clear boundary set that they are working within, and no one respect. It just throws me. I don't know. All this. I do think that if this is actually a real event, I do think that Chris Rock just caught the brunt of, societal pressures. And it's messed up that they have to go through that when they actually could have a loving, fulfilling marriage, but they still have to conform to society standards outside of what they've decided on their own, if that makes sense.
It's still about all these arbitrary things that men think makes you a man, right? They give props to guys who sneak around and cheat on their wives and stuff like that, but they're not giving Will Smith props for having an open marriage with his wife, and they doing what they doing. Like, somehow he's a simp, but the dude that's been cheated and got 3 women pregnant, got outside families, he's not the simp. And that's leaving this woman to raise these kids by herself, he's not the simp. But Will Smith was a simp because he can take his wife and his ex on a date, on a family vacation, and not have sex with it. Like it's crazy to me how people put these things on guys with all the guys. Like I said, the Dwayne Wade, the Russell Wilson, all these because they're not man enough to live up and do the things that they supposed to do. They try to shame the men that is doing the right things, and that's how they shame.
It's like the actual family men are always labeled the simps. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's,
but they shit working though.
I find it interesting. I like what you said, Darwin. I find it interesting that, you know, they'll shame Will for accepting this open marriage, but then they will praise and advocate for the man who can exercise options, right? Like it's so
You
I
should have
feel
posed
y'all
better.
Well,
I feel you on that. Like, oh, he's so horrible because he
But
let
Will did exercise his options.
But
They're mad because
exactly.
Jada exercised hers too.
But the man can exercise their options though, like, and the woman should be the submissive one to put up with that, right?
but therein lies, you actually answered the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why they want to keep pushing that and promoting that. That's why they like, Will, you messing it up. Like, you can't be out here accepting that. Like, you can't, because we telling these women that this is in men's nature. We're telling these women that women are not sexual beings, that sex is only for men, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are telling them this. Why are you accepting this? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you read the man's book, he specifically said when he met this lady, he knew that she was not interested in a traditional marriage. He knew that before he even married her. So he knew what he was getting into as far as that goes, because she did not grow up traditionally like that. She did not grow up in a conventional household. She never wanted a traditional conventional marriage, and they don't have one. And he knew that eyes wide open. That's what I'm saying. Why are we taking his agency away from this man and making him a victim? If it was the other way around, and a woman married a dude that was like, I'm not into no traditional marriage, and and then all this stuff came out, nobody would be like, oh, why is he doing her like that? Like, well, she knew that he ain't want that when, I mean, she already knew what she was getting herself into. So, I mean,
Miss Jovo, what did you say?
Who has the problem?
What did you say earlier, Miss Jovo? You said if people started learning more about themselves and this and that, then it'd probably be a better place. But I don't think so, because the thing is this: what Will is allowing to happen, I could never. I just couldn't. But I don't internalize that and be like, Will is this type of person. I just be like, man, he's a better man than me when it comes to that, you know. And I would hope to one day, if my marriage got to that point, that I would accept that instead of just giving up, because that takes a lot from a man. That takes like pride, ego, all of that, and that's what real men exemplifies to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at him like that's a knock to him. I look at him like, man, because just to think like you letting your wife do, you know what I'm saying, that like, and you can still, my imagination ain't even rap like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't do it. But
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when you have people who see a couple, and let's say they know within that couple has dealt with infidelity, and they can't even conceptualize or understand why they still together. What's a deal breaker and a preference for one couple is not a deal breaker and a preference for the next couple. Going back to what I said earlier in the show, there's not a black marriage. There's not the black marriage, the black family. Like, I'm gonna just say this, and this is the first thing that came to my mind. People, you know, the pandemic is letting up a little bit. I'm encouraging people, get off TikTok. These fantasies that y'all have about this, what this is supposed to look like, and this is what this is supposed to look like, and this is what this is supposed to look like. Okay, like, this is what it's supposed to be, and you're supposed to be doing this, and you're supposed to be doing that, and the black love. There is no the black love. It is your black love and their black love and our black love and this and that. People just need to stop. Close-minded people are most dangerous people that I have ever met in my entire life, because closed-mindedness does not allow evolution or growth on any day of the week. It does not. And people try to dress it up. When I say that, people try to, you know, dress it up into, oh, well, you just gonna allow everything. No, that ain't what I said. You can be open-minded and have boundaries. Now, obviously, I'm not pro open marriage, never have, don't understand it. But guess what? If you are, your open marriage ain't got nothing to do with me, and my traditional marriage ain't got nothing to do with you. But what I do know about all these marriages, going back to the main point that I was trying to make, was marriage is gonna have ups and downs. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people this, and I will get closer to the camera. If you think for 1 minute you gonna make a covenant or an agreement with somebody and they ain't gonna mess up and you ain't gonna mess up, then guess what? My advice to you, don't get married. You ain't ready.
Yes,
How many couples?
If you somebody who can't manage realistic expectations for human beings, and then you want to get married, don't do it. You ain't ready.
That's why I want to respond to
how many times have we been with couples and their judgment of us was y'all some swingers.
Yeah.
And we don't have an open marriage or none of that, but their judgment of us is we some swingers. And I guess because I allow my wife to speak how she wants to speak, dance how she wants to dance, dress how she wants to dress, be as sexy as she wants to be out in public or whatever, right? And so they assume like, oh man, he just letting her loose. I know they swinging, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm comfortable with that. You know, I got my boundaries, but my boundaries is not your boundaries. You know, my wife can be a little sexy and show a little cleavage out and stuff like that. And it's not me showing her off to another man. You know what I'm saying?
But they don't even consider the fact that you actually like that about your wife.
Exactly.
They don't. What I'm like, what's wrong with that? If you
man, everybody want to be married until it's time to be married.
Yes, no, that's what I was about to say though to Nina's comment about that they both seem unhappy in their marriage and they aren't good poster children for that and they full interview and all that. I'm gonna tell you what I saw. I did see that full interview when they made that comment when they said we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life, right? I understood exactly what they were talking about when they said that for anybody who has made that commitment, because that's people's problem. People too dedicated and too committed to trying to be happy all the doggone time. You're not there's a higher duty. Like these people, they've said a million times, we came to agreement and we said, even if you all the way over here in this side of the house and I'm all the way over here at that side of the house, we still committed to this thing. This is what we chose to do. We're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. That's a commitment. That's having a higher commitment to that family. It's not about, oh, I'm happy right now. Like happiness is something that comes and goes, fleeting and this and that. And you're not always going to be grinning.
Emotions are fleeting. And one emotion replaces the next emotion.
Right. Yes. Like it's just a temporary emotion. So it's I don't see these people like they're so unhappy. I see some people who are thoroughly committed to each other. And that is the kind of commitment you can only wish to have, because that's what you have to do. Because you're not always finna be happy. You're not always finna be in the same place. You're not finna always be in agreement about everything all the time. That's just what it is. But the main thing that you need to be in agreement on is whether or not you're gonna work through this thing and whether or not you're gonna be committed to it.
People are not comfortable with seeing uncomfortable situations. Like people see other people being uncomfortable and they immediately think like, man, I wouldn't put up with that. You don't know what you'll put up with until you in that situation. So all the judgment that you have, you need to save it until you get in that situation. Because when you get in that situation and you find yourself doing the same shit that they was doing, then what you gonna say? You know what I'm saying? Like people just be tripping me out. Like we don't have a perfect marriage, you know, and we don't go around saying we do. We show y'all, we show people what we want to show them, and if they think that we have a perfect marriage, they can. And if they see something that don't seem perfect to them, like, oh yeah, see, they just front. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
Take a picture of it, Snapchat it, text about it, write about it, journal about it. I don't care. Like seriously, because I have very strong feelings about this.
Welcome to Late Night in the Ladies' Room. Everybody, thank y'all for hanging in there. This is like after hours type thing going on. We just kind of continuing the conversation, and I want to let everybody know that you all can still chime in. Okay, so call us, let us know what you think. The number is 574-943-5971. Go ahead and call us, and you can also join our live stream. It's in the chat as well. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, what I was saying was I got really strong opinions about that because my anniversary coming up, and I'm always my brain is not all the time focused on as I evolve in marriage, not what I'm gonna get out of the situation. but what are we going to build next? And that's how I know I have matured and grown, because I had that same idea, because like I told y'all, I was 22, 23 years old when I got married, somebody's baby. And I just had this idea of basically what you depict on TikTok. And it was just like, you know what, but and it's like, okay, yeah, get your life together though, girl. That ain't what it's gonna be. Because there's so many things that you deal with in life. And that's the real true test. People keep looking at weddings and they're not looking at marriages. That's what I'm telling y'all. They're looking at engagement photos and engagement parties and all these little rituals, and they think if he go through with all of this, or she go through with all of this mean they the one. And I'm just telling y'all,
but that's why Jada gets with the backlash that she gets, because they're putting everything out there. And people want to say everything is not for everybody. Well, how do you learn if people have testimonies, right? And they want to show people that this is what's going on. And if you want to act like you're not going through this in your marriage, you can act like that if you want to. But this is what's really happening. And for the people that's just getting in relationships and don't know, and they want to do things like we're doing, it is possible, and it's possible to be happy doing it. And that's an option to have this open relationship and love someone at the same time. And they're showing people that. And there's other people that want to look at them like, oh no, that's not right. They shouldn't be talking about that. Why? You talk about your relationship and what you've been going through, and you hiding stuff. You know, so you showing people the glamour parts about it. Like, oh, look at, like you said, the photo album. But you're not showing them people like how many arguments you had leading up to your wedding, how many times you thought you was gonna call it off, and stuff like that. You're not talking about that. So when people get in these relationships, they only think about that, and then when they get in it, now they surprised, like, damn, I didn't think it was gonna be this hard. Where's the message for this at? They don't want to give the message because they gonna feel like they're embarrassed. They're embarrassing themselves. They don't want to put themselves out there so somebody else can learn. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's so messed up about it.
Or not even that. I think it's just
other people to learn.
Yeah, and not even that. I just think it's too. It can be several different reasons, because I'm one person that like I told y'all, this 40. I don't mind verbally telling anybody that ain't none of your business. Let's go on to the next topic. Like I'm sick of explaining stuff to people. I'm learning how to not do that. But I hear what you're saying, Darwin. I think a lot of, and what I've seen in Black culture is a lot of quote unquote people don't want to be seen as quote unquote the dumb one in the relationship, especially if infidelity happens. Like, infidelity is a whole layer of things. You hear people saying, oh, I feel so stupid, I should have known, blah, blah. All these different emotions come with that. And I think people are vulnerable, and they don't want the judgment on top of all of the feelings that they experience when something like that happens in a relationship.
My guys,
but
the same things
I hear what you're saying. I think there's a way that you can be transparent without, how do I say this? I understood what they did. I think I would have picked a different method. Let me just say that.
It's a thankless action. It's a thankless action. They're basically putting their marriage on display, being open, teaching people a new way to be, a new way to think. I'm not saying I pedestalize their marriage. I don't. I really think nothing of it. But it's a thankless job. They're giving a testimonial of there's no one way to do things. And if you ask me, they're pretty damn successful at what they're doing. People don't like how their image comes across. But
they don't give a fuck.
Their family is impacting the world on a whole level, and they're doing it together. They're literally doing it together. So, to kind of put myself into it, just without going into too much, one of the reasons I quit my job, I saved my family by quitting my job. Sometimes that's some of the things that you have to do in order to move forward, to become more cohesive. You get what I'm trying to say? But I put that testimony out there just so, some people may not. I know a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people told me I was stupid. But guess what? I would have still had that job probably, and I would have probably been a single mom or something somewhere. That's just how it went. So, what people may not understand it, I'm still willing to put that out there just, to tell people, not saying quit your job, you're gonna say your marriage, just to say that was something that I had to do in order to get to that next level with my family and for us to progress and get past the hurdle. So I mean, but it really is a thankless job. You put stuff out there, you judge. I mean, yeah. I just hope they're able to come over it.
Like everything else
what Darren was saying.
What I think that okay, go ahead. Sorry, Ashley.
I like what Darren was saying. About the transparency. We always talk about, like, you hear people talk about, Black people need to learn how to stay together. The divorce rate is 50%. There's 50% of divorce marriages end in divorce in this country, and everybody's talking about why marriages don't last. But then nobody wants to listen to other married people and what they go through. And there's this code that, we gotta be quiet. You shouldn't be talking about your marriage. And I think that the real problem is that people lack discernment of what to share and which
boundaries.
Share it, because how on earth, I'm not going to know how to run a business. I'm not going to know how to write a book. I'm not going to know how to do anything unless somebody tells me how they did it, and
that's
so it's really unfortunate, especially for us as Black people whom, to a large degree or in large numbers grow up in single parented homes. So we don't even have an example, an immediate example, many of us. And then all these so-called know-it-alls, want to tell people, keep people out your marriage. But nobody knows how to have a marriage.
But the thing is,
so we need to listen, not share everything, but we need to listen.
But what's so crazy to me is that I don't even understand why people have this mindset when I swear, like every single, I don't know a relationship that don't have some, especially when people are together for a long time, and especially when they're raising kids and all this other stuff. Like if you ever really talk to people or you understand anybody's story, there is nobody's story that I know that I'm just like, you know what? I know that it doesn't exist. That's what I'm saying. Like this idea that we have, like it don't exist.
If we just told y'all our first year of marriage, what we went through our first year, I'm talking about like sex tapes. I'm talking about paternity suits.
Not mine. Hold on, not mine.
The first year she was pregnant. She got pregnant. We had to deal with a 14-year-old son going through his, like the first year was like, man, I mean, and it was crazy.
Trust me, I understand.
Look how thick that book is.
What's that?
I got a bestseller on my hands. I know I do. I get it though. I get it, dude. It's I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And if people, and it's just like I tell people all the time, like being in a marriage is like if you want to ace a test, you go study, right? So I study my wife. I know how to piss off. I know how to make her happy. I know when she's mad. I know when she's sad. I know when something's wrong. And she steady growing. I'm steady growing. But you have to keep studying. You just can't stop.
Because people constantly evolving. I mean, what I wanted at 20, I met my husband at 22. What I wanted at 22 is nothing close to what I want right now at my age.
And I was saying
years later,
and you couldn't even imagine,
right?
No. And you still don't know now who you will be in 10 years,
right?
So how can you? You know what I mean? Be like this.
Yeah.
Be like this.
You don't know. And I was saying that to say, like when I was talking about when Will Smith did what he did for Jada in that moment, and someone said like, but they are, he loves her. They've been together. It's that like, but they've been through a lot of turmoil this year, these past couple of years, right? So it's still things he needs to do and work on. And prove to her every day. It's just not, I proved to you 10 years ago I loved you. No, he's steady proving to her every day that he loves her. He's steady proving to her every day that I'm going to protect you. He's still proving to her every day that I invested emotionally, physically, mentally with you. So it's like in that moment, he still had a decision to make. Like you never know what someone is thinking. You always go off like their actions. And in that moment, he felt like my wife is not doing too good in this moment. My mind's gonna take me to let me protect her, let me make her feel better. Like instant gratification is key, right?
Do something to make me feel better.
I know if I sock this mug, I know she pissed off with this dude right here. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go and hey, and we about to turn up afterwards, and that's what they did. And so that's what I'm saying. Like it's not even a big deal like everybody want to make it. It's just that, like I said last time in the show, sometimes we give each other tests, and in that moment, it's like, what you gonna do now? You know, and that without even giving each other tests, it's still like, what you gonna do now? And when people say, and she gave him a look, so if my wife give me a look like, you gonna look, hey, it's time to show out. It's time to show out.
But I really think that had nothing to do with Jada. And maybe that's just my perspective and what I got. I mean, I'm not saying she didn't look hurt or that she wasn't bothered by the joke, but I definitely don't think that had anything to really do with her. I think that was him protecting his ego in a sense, if anything. If it was more than a stage slap, it was him more so protecting his ego, and Chris Rock just ended up getting it
because it definitely had something to do with her. And
I think so too, because he laughed and he didn't
because he didn't do nothing until.
But the thing is, we keep saying that he laughed first, right? And I don't know why we are acting like we also don't understand human behavior too. Like it's plenty of times that I've seen people a million times laugh at something and immediately get upset. Like initially they may not have processed it. They may have just been uncomfortable in the moment.
I mean, that's
nervous laughter, whatever. And that's just completely being ignored as I did. It's like he thought it was funny. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just trying to laugh it off or whatever.
I mean,
and then it didn't come off.
Right. In some moment,
like you don't know how he actually felt about it. Maybe he processed it. Y'all, we don't know. We can't just be like he laughed. So like that doesn't necessarily mean that. It's plenty of times I didn't laugh at stuff and been mad that I laughed at it. Like
put your post up, Jovo. Put your post up. That behavior thing. Because look, he laughed right because it's the Oscars and that's the thing to do. He cracked the joke, let me laugh, let me play the role, the cameras is on me. But then he said, you know what? Fuck these Oscars. He made a decision right then and there, like, you know, F these Oscars. My wife pissed off. I ain't putting on the show no more. I'm not gonna slap this thing.
Y'all giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think he only did it because he saw her reaction and he saw that
I do too.
I think that's the only
reason what triggered him to think
more. I think he genuinely, I'm pretty discerning. I think he genuinely thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, me, I do too.
At minimum, I think he just wasn't bothered himself by it. You know?
Yeah, I think when he saw how she was, it made him go to a deeper level of thinking.
If we go off of his speech too, he said people just expect you to laugh at everything. People just expect you to take whatever. But what I'm saying is maybe he's just so used to laughing at stuff that he doesn't think is funny, or just to like make everybody else comfortable, not to make it awkward. So what I'm saying is we can't ignore that as also
had a bad night.
Just be like he thought it was funny. Like maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't.
I think you say that again, Darwin. Darwin
had a bad night. Will Smith had a bad night. Fuck it. We all had bad nights.
That's like when people who are not married see married people argue and they have a big blow up. Like I had to tell a friend, like, you know, girl, you all right? Y'all gonna be all right? And I said, let me explain something to you. Every week, I what's the old school term? Every week I quit Mosley. Just depending on the day of the week.
Right.
We don't go together no more. Every week. And then it's like, we don't go together no more. I don't like you. But what we gonna eat tonight?
But it's also weird that so many, I don't know how some of these people were raised.
The extreme
families that people were raised in. But I grew up and, you know, I could talk about I'm not talking about the Will and Jada situation. I'm talking about how they act like, I mean, as far as that goes, but I'm talking about how they act like when married people are having internal problems, they supposed to act it out outwardly some type of way. I don't know how they grew up, because when I grew up, like I could talk about my siblings, I could beat them up, I could do all types of stuff to them, whatever, but better not nobody else come over here thinking that they have to do it. So I just don't understand why people's thought process. They like, because she treated him like this and she did that. They don't get with you?
People act like they don't realize they the toxic couple down the street. They literally the toxic couple down the street. They can cheat, they can do whatever they doing, but they will jump you. You know
right. As a unit, right? You better leave them people alone. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, you know, like that's how I grew up. Like, you know, like I do what I do to my people in my house, but you can't come in here.
And my thing is, we all have, we all know people, we all know marriages and relationships, and they put on especially with Facebook now and social media, they put on this act on Facebook and social media and even around friends in public, and then you be knowing like these are the most effed up people ever. Their relationship is crazy, is effed up, and it really be messed up, and they just put that show on. So, but then they act like they not messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know every relationship is just effed up to somebody else on the outside, right?
It's gonna be right because everybody had different deal breakers. Everybody got different things that they willing to tolerate and not tolerate.
But it's just some people, they will lie about it instead of being honest about it.
Or like people that went through stuff years ago and people still look at that as like their current relationship. You get what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
Even if they did go through that, maybe they grew. Maybe they're at a different stage. Maybe they forgave. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have some type of discernment. Like, if these people still together, if they rolling, like, let it be. And I've never in my life.
Sometimes a person will meet somebody on a different level. So if I'm here with relationships and my wife is up there, you know, sometimes it might take me a little while to catch up to her. So we might go through all this bullshit until I get up to that level with her, and now we cool. And now I might elevate, and now she got to get to my level, and now we cool. And it's stuff like that. And people don't understand, like, you might not grow, you know, at the same level, but as long as you growing and you committed to catching up and understanding each other, then that's all you can do. And that's gonna be forever, though. That's gonna be a forever thing. And when people when you say forever, I'm about to be with you forever, it's constant work forever. You know,
right?
Like, and people think at some point all the bullshit's supposed to stop. Well, no, that type of bullshit stop, but it's others. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my wife don't argue about the same stuff we argued about 6 years ago. You know, we argue about other stuff now, and we argue different. You know what I'm saying? So that's just growth. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand,
right?
You know, until they get to that point.
I think it's so horrible that a lot of times in our societies, when people see people, they'll criticize the Jadas, right, and the Wills for being transparent and being honest about their shortcomings or the challenges of their marriage. But then they'll turn around, and when they see people that seem to be happy, then they're being fake. Or, you know, they're pretending, they're letting on, they want you to think this, they want you to think that. It's just a toxic way of operating. Like, people obviously don't understand, like Darren was saying, their relationships just have their ups and downs. And everybody, you know, has to accept kind of like the good and the bad. And if you're not willing to accept the bad, then it's like you don't need to be in a relationship. I just find that a little interesting. Yeah.
I think these cliches about, you know, self-care and, you know, you need to prioritize your happiness. People have took these to these extremes, and then you got people who are rejecting the reality that every day in your life is not going to be sunshine and rainbows. And I think two things. You got some unhappy people out there, and because they unhappy, they don't want to see other people happy and adjusted. And then I think the other thing is you got people who they just lack skills, and they're afraid to say, I don't know how to think outside of a certain box. I don't know how to think about this in a different light. And I can say that now because I used to be one of those people. You know, I came from a very sheltered place, a very small place. I grew up a certain way. And I think sometimes people think you're expected to be the same person you were at like 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, well, you used to be this and you used to be that. Well, I grew up. That's what I did. I grew up. And then what the other part that just like you said, Ashley, and you made a good point, where people are like, oh, they're fake, or oh, they always got something going on. And that's what I tell people. That's where the discernment comes in, and setting boundaries with certain things about marriage that you just don't tell certain folks. Like I have married friends that I can have certain conversations about things that I might be dealing with in my marriage.
Right.
But I have single friends that they look me dead in my face and they're like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "No, but we will be." I'm not going into detail with them because, quite honestly, and it's not a slap in the face to them, or it's not they couldn't provide any insight. It's just that I'm married. I might want to talk to Darwin and Cannon about something that we might be going through than I would one of my single girlfriends, because maybe she don't get it, and it's okay. And that's the other thing too. People need to normalize letting people know when they just don't know what the heck they talking about, and they don't know that skill set, or they don't know the situation. Like not one person know everything, and I know I don't know everything. You know, if I took in every client for every situation for therapy that I come across, I would not be a good ethical therapist. It's just some stuff that I'm not equipped to deal with when people want therapy. I can't help you with that. Let me send you to somebody who can.
Damn money like that.
Jay in the chat, he missed our conversation. He says smacking a man is weak, especially behind a Jezebel wife. I think that, you know, Jay is like a lot of men who are like, you know, oh, Will is so weak, he's this, he's that, and they just kind of overlook the fact that, you know, Jay and Will are both willingly part of what they call an open relationship. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't tolerate it. I don't understand a man who would want that. And I shouldn't say tolerate, because he's not tolerating it. It's something that they wanted. Will, like Cannon said earlier, said on many different occasions that he never wanted a traditional marriage. And so, you know, she's a Jezebel wife, but if she's a Jezebel wife, then he's a Jezebel husband, because they're both, you know, they agree to an open marriage, you know. And I don't, like I said, I don't agree with it, but you know, I think that blaming everything that's happened with the August, whatever the guy's name is, I don't think that had nothing to do with him slapping Chris Rock. I don't think he should have slapped Chris Rock. I don't like that at all. But I don't think it had anything to do with any pent up frustration. And it ain't Jada's fault. Jovo, hold up.
But I'm gonna tell you why. But I'm gonna tell you why we have a misunderstanding. What's interesting to me is why we, as the Black community, think that Will had all of this pent up frustration about being clowned about Jada, when all of that stuff was coming from the Black community. I'm pretty sure that Will was not given two craps about what you know, a subset of the population. He is, see, we have certain celebrities, right? We have certain celebrities that are Black celebrities, right? Like they're known by us. You know what I mean?
Will ain't no Black celebrity no more.
We are the people. This man is mainstream. Like I don't even like. I'm pretty sure the mainstream was not doing that, right? So like the mainstream was not doing all that, making jokes about his marriage. It was just random Black people, mostly on Facebook, doing all this. So you think that's just like Russell Wilson? Do you think Russell Wilson is sitting there looking at all the comments from the Black manosphere like, oh, this is how they feel about my? No, they're not. I seriously doubt that Will Smith was just sitting around like looking at all the comments from these random people on social media like they're clowning me. Because look at who it was, is what I'm saying. For me to believe that really caused some type of pressure, I would have to think that was a mainstream thing that was happening, that was affecting him on a mainstream level. You know what I mean? To be like, it was this mainstream, like Clinton, and you know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing, like that type of pressure, like it's something coming from him. Like, no, like Will Smith.
They don't understand that Will Smith got so much money, he can keep his entanglements a secret, right? So you know how a lot of celebrities, they entanglements get out in the public and stuff like that, and they just like Carmelo Anthony. I heard a lot of people say Carmelo Anthony got caught in this and that, and then a lot of people say, I bet LeBron James doing it too. Well, if he is doing it, he got so much money that he know how to keep his entanglements a secret. Like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan stuff didn't start coming out until he retired, right? Because he knew how so much money and so much clout that a person knew not to say something like, and he just knew how to move and operate, right? So that's the same thing with Will Smith. And I think a lot of guys is just mad that he gets to operate like this. Like, yeah, he can do this. Because he's doing the same thing Jada's doing, right? They have an open relationship. Jada mess with August, whatever. I don't know, how many women Will mess with, or I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's messing with women. He got pictures out with women. I don't know if he's boned. I would never know, but I'm pretty sure if they got an open relationship, they both can do what they do, right?
Yeah, I think we forget that Will has definitely been with other women.
Yeah,
but he's not calling Will
a
cheating dog. He called Jada a Jezebel.
I said this before, that this is what it seems like to me. Like, there's been rumors since forever. Like, we have to think about it. First of all, their whole image and all that stuff in the beginning was held up as couples goals. Oh, black couple. Oh, they're this best. You know what I'm saying? This wholesome couple and all this other stuff. But the whole time, what it was rumors that they had an open marriage. For a long time, these rumors were going around. These rumors were circulating. I've seen plenty of things with people piecing together like Will in different places with like different women. But it was like that, like the woman will be taking pictures and then he'll be taking pictures in a place. And they'll be like, oh, she's at the same place he's at. And he's with this one. Like, and they looking at all the different places. So you see like he's like, oh yeah, he probably is or whatever. But I think that that what happened and why people are so confused is that I think that that Jada did take the public hit in that moment because her little dip is the one who came out running his little mouth. You know what I mean? So
right. There are others.
It didn't help. He was a close friend to the family. That didn't help.
Was the problem like, shut up, like why you like, we haven't heard any of Will's little people coming out saying whatever. So I think that's why it went down the way that it did, not because it was like, oh, this is the first time it's ever like, this is everything these people say. Like, they've been open marriage for a very long time, but they just won't say we're in an open marriage. They say everything except for just saying that they in an open marriage.
If Will got a problem, he should have a problem with Jada because she probably gave that nigga number 7.
Oh Lord. All right, y'all. We gotta close out. I have fun.
We're supposed to get August number 7, Jada. Now, you doing too much now.
All right. Jay did have some things to say, but it's gonna open up a whole other can of worms. So, Jay, I hope that you can come back and share your commentary. We are here in the ladies' room every Tuesday night at 7:15 Central Time. All right. So go ahead, make sure you like our video, share it, hit the subscribe button so you can get updated every time we post videos. All right. Y'all want to say something else to close us out? Where's your champ?
Remember, Hunger Games. Stay woke, people.
We won it all, baby. Next fight is Russell Wilson slapping Future.
Thanks for having me.
Not always the answer. That's my last one.
Manage your expectations. Manage your expectations.
Wade gonna be slapping Steven Jackson.
Oh my God.
Ladies' room, y'all.
Good night.
Joining. Bye, Dara. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
See you later, girl.
Thank you, y'all.